Hello, Pilipinas. This is The Bench, and welcome to our Huddle, where we offer a layman's view on anything and everything basketball from a bunch of regular dudes, regular guys, who eat, breathe, and sleep hoops. My name is Julio, and to my left is Jay.
Cheers!
Cheers,
What's up,
Jay.
homies?
I'm getting mine soon. And right above the world is Mike.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers, cheers,
Wait,
cheers.
Cheers and Tibbles!
FOMO. Well, anyway, before we start off, we haven't been here for a week, but please do follow and like us at The Bench Live on Facebook. Just type up The Bench, look for our beautiful mugs, and like and follow, and to get notifications on our shows. So, hi guys, we haven't been here for a week.
What's up? Oo nga.
Off season tayo, but we're doing not a happy hour, we're doing a night celebration tonight because we had a whole week of summer league action wherein we get to showcase the new rookies that we feature. Well, not we featured, but we had a show about the NBA draft, and now for the whole week they're playing in Vegas
They are.
with their squads with their respective summer league squads. And we'll also be talking about wrapping up some free agency nuts and bolts and odds and ends here. Not much anymore happening, but still a few big names that have signed or re-signed with teams. And of course, later on also we'll be talking about that great episode from that documentary Untold on Netflix, which is still available. You guys can check it out. It's a documentary on Malice and the Palace, and there's a lot to talk about regarding that. The infamous. We won't really be spoiling. It's not a spoiled thing. It really happened. We'll get you your juices flowing to want to watch that episode.
Yep.
That's our intention right here.
Right.
So I guess we start. Can I just start off and say that
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start summer league off this time.
You're
okay,
the one who's
Yeah.
giddy about the rookies anyway.
Because-
It's not like Mike and I have anything to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
nothing. Wala.
no. I'm gonna start summer league out. So I'm gonna start summer league out with talking, of course, about the two rookies of the Dubs, the number 7 pick Jonathan Kuminga, and the 14th pick Moses Moody. I won't be like Kendrick Perkins who'll mess up his name. So
Then to mess up Labo ni Perks.
diba? Moody Moses, Moody. Anyway, so no, it's okay. I am on like even Warrior Twitter and all that. We are on like this summer league high right now because apparently, I mean, I've been watching the summer league games of past years, and I've tried to see Jordan Poole and I've tried to see Jordan Bell. Jordan Poole's better now, but I saw the first version of Jordan Poole. I saw Jordan Bell. I saw Jacob Evans, and you always are like, even Patrick McCaw, I think I saw, and you're like, okay, pwede na. They're not so bad. Sometimes they can shoot, sometimes they struggle, but you know what? They're rookies. What do you expect? Holy crap, man. I've never seen. I mean, James Wiseman didn't have a summer league last year because there was the whole COVID thing. And Jesus Christ, we have lottery picks who can play, and it's no joke that there's a reason. Like when you're rooting for a team, and your team is not doing so well, so you have a good pick. And when you see them play, it's a different high that you go through. So, diba, I've been through the whole Dubs high of championship, and then now they're a little bit low, but now I get to enjoy the rookies. So you have
FOMO kami ni Mike eh. FOMO.
no, wait. No. So
Parang ako nga eh. I'm just, I'm just daydreaming na lang here kailan kaya kami.
but for you, Primo was doing well
Oh,
until,
yeah.
diba? Okay, it's okay.
Kami todo opposite eh. We're with the oldies.
Actually, dude, you know what?
Team Geriatric!
For this segment, actually, just leave me mga 2 minutes to talk about Primo, and then I'm good.
Okay, let's do it this
Take
way.
all of 30 seconds talking about McClung.
No,
That's
okay.
it na.
No, we're going to talk about the summer league. I know you've watched some games, Jay. I know
Yeah.
you've been watching.
Yeah,
So let's start.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
start with the number 1 pick. Let's start with the number 1 pick, who was Cade Cunningham.
Motorcade.
Motorcade.
Yeah.
He's been doing well.
He has. I think he's got leadership potential also. There was a sports center. I don't know if it was a snippet or something
Yeah.
like that where he was mic'd up, and you see him, man, talking to the players, calling players out,
Yeah.
asking for D, telling the guy what to do the next play. So medyo, I think he's legit, man, legit.
It's
Hey,
funny how.
by the way,
Hmm.
I'll make seeing it lang
Go,
from
go.
Cade to Jalen Green, because
Yeah.
Jalen Green had this breakout game where he played against Cade, no, and
Yeah, yeah.
he kind of outplayed
Yeah.
Cade that game. Houston won also, and so he was interviewed after the game, and he was asked if he had a chip on his shoulder, kuno. And he was like, yeah, I've got a huge chip on my shoulder, blah, blah, blah. I should have been drafted number one, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I'm like, what chip, dude? You were drafted number 2. You got a chip on your shoulder? What
He's-
the hell? What's
yeah.
the difference between number 1 and number 2? Medyo,
No, he was
paano siya?
finding reasons to
Yeah.
motivate himself already, diba?
Right. But the guy's got over 1 million followers on IG, so
Yeah. No, dude,
Mikat na eh.
let's talk na rin about 1 and 2. So the second pick, Jalen Green, so
Yeah.
far, well, Pinoy power. We'll get back to also to Cade. I'll have something to say about Cade, but actually, we can just close Cade right now. You know what? Yeah, I agree. Did you see Cade Mike play? Did you, Mike?
Actually,
did you see
ako,
Cade play?
here's the thing with the summer league. We know naman that's medyo kanya-kanya basketball, diba? Everyone's
yeah,
trying to get
definitely.
everyone's trying to especially
Make a roster.
yung
Yeah.
mga iba, diba? Those that were hired specifically for the summer league,
Right.
they're all
Yeah.
trying to get contracts, diba?
Baka,
Now,
bakawan yan.
I think the contrast between Cade Cunningham here and Jalen Green with summer league kasi and that style of play where it's every man for himself pretty much. All the mga scorer types will always shine in the summer league. That's
Right.
why you're kind of seeing, the Jalen Greens with their high scoring games kind
Right.
of
Kaminga.
kind of rise from the surface, diba? But if you look at Cade Cunningham and the type of player he is, he brings mga intangibles along with his
A lot.
game that he can bring to the
Yep.
table for whatever team he plays in, diba? And those intangibles you will not see in the summer league. Those are things that you see with more organized basketball, with a system in play and all of these things. So ako, for me, the summer league is really a showcase of those mga bucket getters or those flashy players to shine and maybe create some
Right.
some ripples before they enter the
Yeah,
league. But
yeah.
other than that, all these other players, not unless you watch intently and you see the nuances of the game, then you understand, this guy, he scored 12, but he had 8 crucial assists to go with, things like that, the
Yeah.
nuances
No, but
there.
you know what's funny? If you check the mga analysts, they actually say, like, when you're watching Summer League, kailangan iba yung mindset mo.
Right.
You don't, especially when it comes to, like, rookies. Like, for example, pag malakas turnover ng rookies, they say pa nga, that's actually a good thing for Summer League.
Yeah.
Kasi,
yeah,
yes,
I kind of get that.
They look at the turnovers because he has a willingness to make a certain play
Right,
happen.
right.
Like, a thread the
Right.
needle pass, ganyan.
Right.
In fact, when they're
Right.
too relaxed in Summer League, they kind of find it a little bit turned off because, like, your motors, if your motor is gonna be low in Summer League, especially this is your first showcase to the media, to the public, malamang your motor will be low
Right.
also in the NBA. So
Pag
you
walang
want to be
gigil.
able, pag walang gigil sa Summer
Ah.
League, ganyan. So, and then, it's of course later on in their career, siguro, I mean, you can get the giggle, but naman, it's harder to get a person to rev up his
Wanted,
gana.
right.
It's better to tone someone down, right? So,
Yeah.
so there. But you are right. The problem with Summer League is like some example. Okay, Cade has the ball a lot of times. He was number 1 pick, so he does. I mean, the coach of the Summer League tells him, okay, you can tell the ball goes to Cade. The ball goes to Jalen Green. That's easy, right? But people like Evan Mobley, who are centers, and even Scotty Barnes. Evan Mobley had a good game today, but even prior to that, they've been kind of lukewarm because they're big people. They're like forwards and like
Yeah.
so
They
don't
still
get-
need the ball to be passed to them.
they
Right.
still need the ball to be
Right.
passed to
Yeah.
them. And more often than not, all the other people there are just making Buakaw to look good sometimes. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. But
Yeah.
so far, I guess in a nutshell, A lot of the top rookies naman have, I can't say there has been a bust really in the top 10. So in the top 10 picks,
How
everyone
about
has been doing
how about the top 12?
the top 12. Cheers, guys. All
Segue
right.
na siya eh.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
The top 12. Joshua Primo has been, well, I mean,
Uh,
hmm,
well, okay, let's get to Primo. Let's ano. Well, si Primo kasi well, he's out now, no, for the rest of the
yeah,
summer. Well, he was out early on kasi because of it's a precautionary measure to
yeah.
a, I think a calf
Right.
strain or something. And then Vassell
Ah,
was out. Actually, one guy that kind of shined after the two went out was Trey Jones. I was telling Jay earlier. He scored like 38, if I'm not mistaken. 38, 9 and 8.
solid.
Yeah, diba? Solid, no?
Solid.
Sorry, 34, 8 rebounds and 9 assists. He was medyo balling na actually
Yeah.
last year. And then he spent a lot of time in the in the G League the whole
The
of
G
last
League.
season
Yeah.
because of the stack roster. I mean the overload of backcourt of
Guys.
the
Yeah.
Spurs roster, no. Pero now, and then see, it's what's interesting because I never paid attention to him last year, eh. And then apparently si Ja Morant went out with a
Mhm.
comment na saying na why is the attention all on Basel and Primo when it should be on Trey Jones. I don't know how, I don't know what the dynamic of the relationship is, but
Did they play in
basically
the same school?
I don't know. So
Wasn't Ray Jones Duke yata? Hindi ba? Hindi ba siya? Anyway, I
I'm
won't.
not
uh,
sure.
so yeah, so I mean, ako si Primo, okay, si
Same
Primo,
agency yan.
Primo looked good considering the how raw he is and how young he is, and he
Yeah.
only had 1 year of college under his belt, diba? So he looked good on that part. There are some flaws. There are a lot of bad decision making. Sometimes he has a good dynamic. He has good dynamics on his pull up jumper. He kind of moves. If I was telling you guys, he kind of moves like the Rosen. He has those mga jab
Okay.
steps, those spin moves in
Right.
that mid range
Right.
game. He has a pretty similar mid-range game to the Rosen. The problem with him lang is decision making, and sometimes I feel that when he drives without a plan, and then he
Well,
elevates, and then somebody rises up with him, and then he doesn't know what to
okay.
do, and then he messes it
Good.
up. So
Right.
it's
I
very
never had
Ball
a
turnover yan.
I never had a Planet 18 also,
well
honestly.
true, diba? Hindi, but yeah, again, it's all within ano. But I kind of see now. I kind of see. Okay, maybe there is something about this guy because he did show some signs of brilliance. He, even his court vision and the way
Yeah.
because he had spurts in the point guard position, eh. And even
Yeah, I was
making
shocked with that.
making passes off both hands off the dribble
Yeah.
without lifting the ball. It's basically just off the dribble, passing it with one hand. The court vision's there, the
Right.
passing's good. So I can kind of see. Ngayon, what this is telling me, which I was telling Jay earlier actually before we started, na parang I think di ba, a lot of people are asking why they're 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 stacking up their backcourt when they have so many na that they're developing, diba? I'm kind of feeling that these are all safety nets just in case si DeJounte Murray doesn't pan out.
Well, yeah, that's true. Syempre, yeah, it's
So
been so long
medyo
for.
these are all backed up, lined up na to just in case it doesn't matter. And it's a good for me it's a good we've built up a good enough pool of younglings to develop na in case anyone doesn't pan out, it's medyo it's switchable places. They
Yeah.
can just move people around to certain roles.
Well, that's the way it has to
Right.
be when you're a rebuilding squad. I mean, you
Right,
can't,
right.
it's really gather up a lot of
Mm.
assets and then see
Make it fit.
see who
Yeah, and
rises. No,
yeah, and
and
then the
see,
system later on na lang,
yeah,
no? Yep.
system dapat later on. But but okay, let's. I think the standout so far, I have probably what aside from who. I mean, I'm biased to Kuminga because Kuminga's been really, really good. But aside from Kuminga for the Warriors, I have probably to sum up summer league. I probably have two standouts and one should not have been drafted that low type player. I mean, I, I we all agree, I guess, and I mean, Jalen Green has been a standout.
Yep.
I mean, he's been fantastic
Yeah.
in.
Yes, I don't know. He has a weird way about
He's
how
a
he
hurt.
moves.
Yeah, he's a herky
Herky
jerky.
jerky todo.
Yeah.
Yeah, todo.
And
todo.
the hair doesn't help. I mean, the
The hair
hair.
doesn't help either.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
Like,
know.
what the fuck?
Yeah, you don't
Parang
know.
may kasamang fake yung hair eh.
May kasama.
Meron.
Delayed eh. Pag
Meron.
ganyan
May
yan,
delay, diba?
pag ganyan,
Hair
nandiyan
fake.
pa yung buhok niya.
Oh, so it throws off the timing of the defender.
Yeah. But
But the guy can score, man. The guy can
the
definitely
guy can
score.
shoot more than his
He
drive.
can shoot. He can drive. Parang very all around this
Yeah.
game.
He gives that's a new move. Ako, di ba, you know
But
how
no, he's
you know how the head and shoulder fake was pretty much the move in the 90s, di ba? Now we have the hair and shoulder fake.
The hair and shoulder fake. Diba? But
shampoo yan, di ba? Head and shoulders.
Hair and head and shoulder.
I can picture Procter and Gamble calling him already. Anyway. No, but what I find the wildest about Jalen Green is that he has that really, really smooth step back jumper already. I mean, he's like 19 years old and he has this really. Maybe it's watch. I mean, before rookies would not have that step back, but I guess you're already watching so many years of Steph and Dame and Harden, and you're patterning your games already. So now pa lang, you see that he has this
early pa lang. Yeah.
and I see a few highlights.
But no. I think his handles can be improved pa.
Well, yes, yeah. He has major.
But that step back definitely is there.
Yeah. So I think he's one of the standouts. And then next, I call him. The other standout I would probably put out na lang there is Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Yes. That guy has motor written all over him. He's like all over the court, man. He's
man. No, he can play. Well, we saw him naman on the NC tournament last time.
Yeah, diba? Yeah. So
we're kind of familiar with this game. Medyo solid talaga.
Solid siya.
Very all around kind of. And not afraid to take that last shot either.
Yeah. In fact, they were saying like last year it was like Ja Morant is kind of like Westbrook and all that. But they were saying Ja Morant is that Westbrook type of energy. And dude, right. I think Suggs has that Tasmanian type, pero more on defense. More than all, he's like a.
But he can score also. Huh?
He can score. He's gonna be a whirlwind on defense, man. Block shots even at the guard position.
Right. I think Orlando's gonna have a problem with who to start.
Yes.
Eventually Suggs will give them that kind of a problem. Eventually they'll have to use him.
Here's a question. I mean, from what we've seen so far, did Toronto make a mistake in
you know what?
passing on him?
Good point, because I was listening to a podcast. Well, I was listening to a Warriors podcast, but even the Warriors podcast people, they were like, Suggs is because I mean, it's no joke. The Warriors were drooling for Suggs to drop. That would have been their perfect draft pick, siguro, if maybe Cade, but I mean, they'll never get the first pick. But they were kind of hoping that Suggs would have dropped low, so they were trying to, if they had smoke sheet, it was to bring down Suggs. But they were like drooling how good Suggs, because they were calling Suggs like mini Draymond. He's like the guard version of Draymond Green out there. And so they were asking, did Toronto make, why didn't Toronto get Suggs? Like exactly what you're saying, Mike. Mm-hmm. We don't know yet. I mean, Barnes naman looked okay.
It's likely one of those. We talked about this before. There are two ways of drafting, diba? You draft a player based on the team's needs.
Yeah.
Meaning it's positional. Yeah. Or you draft whoever's the best guy possible, right? I think they went for getting someone in a position they felt they needed. Because they still have Van Fleet naman, diba?
But it's funny kasi
but they did lose Lowry.
But if you look at that reasoning, Suggs would have been a better pick anyway. Either way, diba?
That's true.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. I think what you're saying, Jay, is that because I think that just what they were saying, it strengthens the rumor that they might trade Pascal, because that's where
Well,
That's where
yes,
Scotty Barnes
yes.
Yeah.
seems to be
Well, yeah.
slotting into,
Right.
right?
No, they've been shopping him around.
Yeah,
They've been
yeah.
asking for. I mean,
Pero,
and they've been getting, and also
pero
they've
it's
been
funny
getting. Yeah, go ahead.
when you say fit and then a best player and fit. Suggs checks both those
Right,
boxes.
right,
He
he
right,
was
does
the
though.
best.
He does.
He was the best player,
Right.
and they lost Lowry.
And
He
right.
could have been
right.
exactly what Lowry was. So
Right.
we don't know
Or
yet.
Lowry, or what Lowry wasn't, dude, for them.
Well, I don't know the money, but he's wild. And then we heard the stats there that I'll just say also Scotty Barnes is no joke. I heard his stats pala when I was watching the Toronto Dubs game. The guy pala is 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. That's we're talking about a guy who probably can walk on his
So
hands.
yun na nga. Baka they got this guy to replace Pascal in case they ship
Maybe,
out
yeah,
Right,
Spicy
maybe,
P.
right.
yeah. That's what it looks like now there. So there. I like Suggs is everything. Both though are resting though now because of slight injuries, precaution. And Jalen Green has a sore hamstring. Suggs though has a finger thing. So this early pa lang, they're learning about load management already. I'm
Cheers.
I'm on Compadres draft. I miss going to that bar, and this is their house.
Oh,
Diba?
what?
This is their house Pilsner. Compadres.
Team Hendrix, pa-sponsor naman tayo dyan.
Iba-iba pala. I'm on vodka tonight.
That's all I had. That's all I had. Beer.
Schweppes, pa-sponsor na rin.
So there, we can just talk about most of the rookies were good. Josh Giddey from Australia, I think he was tired lang. He sprained his ankle and then they never played him again. They were okay. Duarte was okay. There was no real bust, I think. But I think the biggest takeaway here is
Duarte had one good game.
yeah, he had
His
one
last
good
game was pretty good. 20-something, 7 assists, something
He's
like
good.
that.
His motor is quite
Medyo
good.
solid.
Medyo wild din
Yeah,
siya.
ano na rin siya no? Parang kumbaga vet rookie and the thing
Vet
with the age and everything.
And
I'll just
Sengun had a pretty strong also, diba?
dude, there I was gonna get to that. I think the winners talaga are the Rockets when it comes to the
Yep.
4 first-round picks that all look like
Panalo Rocket.
that they're good.
Except there's one there that's stupid to challenge Steph or diba? You saw the tweets. How dare he? How dare he?
Huh? What
Yeah,
did this Ponklong say?
No, he kept on tweeting against. The guy defended
Against
himself.
Steph?
Against
Against
Steph.
Steph.
When he was in high school. Well,
Yeah,
alam mo
no,
naman,
he defended himself. I like his answer actually. His answer was very good. He didn't erase the text. He goes, "I was 14 and I was a LeBron fan. What do you expect?" Tama naman. So okay lang. Okay lang.
Speaking of LeBron and Team Geriatric,
Oh,
we do have a rookie, and I have seen him play several times. Mahusay yung Mac McClung, man. He's not bad.
Long. Yeah.
Yeah, the boy can play.
You think
He hit a crucial shot to tie the game. I forgot who the other rookie was who made the winning basket. But he's been playing really well. Kanina, he had a lot of highlights again. Yeah. Even LBJ's been liking the post of Sports Center with McClung highlights. So,
that's pretty
mukhang
cool.
he's making the roster.
Alam mo, Jay, your summer
league. Ang pabata namin yan.
Jay, yung summer league ng LA this year was like the summer league of the Spurs in the mid-2010s when we still had the no, what I'm saying is we didn't have any rookies that you had to make bantay in the summer league.
Kasi we had that also 5 years ago.
We didn't have draft picks. We didn't have prospects in the rookie pool. Right. And it was just vets, inserting vets. So basically, parang participation, parang it's for the sake of participation lang in summer league for us before.
I know. Well, okay, for everyone who's watching, I mean, I'm not sure. We just assume they know what summer league is, right? Summer league is after the NBA draft. Just to explain to the viewers, because baka we're talking about summer league naman, and they're like, what's this summer league that they're talking about? After the NBA draft, they have a mini league normally in Las Vegas. All the teams, all 30 teams, and it's called Summer League. And normally what happens there, it's a place for the rookies that they just drafted to show off their wares already in an NBA type setting. Parang with the assistant coaches, same systems as the teams. And normally who play there are normally the rookies, the sophomores, very rare you have third-year players still playing in summer league, and a lot of these extra players who want to make their G League squad or are trying to get contracts as undrafted players. So that's pretty much the whole summer league thing. So what you end up watching talaga are just the big name rookies.
Yeah.
Or kung walang big name rookies, there's gonna be somebody who just wants to who wants to get an NBA contract at the end of this whole
Right.
Las Vegas tournament. So that's pretty much what the NBA Summer League is, and it's fun if you have rookies that you're making abang. Like I'm sure Jay was watching the Summer League intently during the year of Lonzo and Kuzma when they won it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Brandon Ingram was playing there, Kuzma, and so that was fun for you guys.
But
And coming up,
Team Geriatric is unbeaten in the Summer League
oh,
so far.
diba? That's why. So
Ah,
me naman at that time, just like Mike before, because the Warriors were on top, I was trying to watch Jordan Bell, kuno, who they got in the second. I mean, I was watching all these fringe rookies. That's why I'm a little bit amazed lang now that because it is. I never saw summer league in the 80s. You know what I mean? You just didn't see this stuff in the
Right. Right.
90s.
no, I don't know if I don't know about you guys, but personally, I don't really take too much stock in the Summer League per se.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to know, how these rookies are faring. It might help, with regards to waiver wires during the fantasy league, knowing who to pick,
Yeah,
what you need, and
yeah.
all that. Scouting report lang talaga.
Scouting report. I think okay, unless but so there, the four picks of the Rockets were really really good. The Jalen Green, of course, the Turkish MVP, the Turkish League MVP at
Right.
19 is pretty good. Si Şengün, that Christopher guy who I'm not so familiar, late round pick was good also. And they got the Spanish player pala, Garuba.
Garuba.
Yeah,
Was
and
he at the Olympics?
he was at
Yup.
that. That's why he came late. He didn't play in the first two summer league games.
Yeah,
Ah.
pati si ano, pati that
Ano yan,
Aussie
Houston,
center
man?
that the Spurs picked up, si Landale, that Jock Landale.
Langdale,
Yeah, he didn't play in the
Oh,
summer
yeah.
league also.
So
Fresh from the Olympics yun eh.
the
Ako,
Rockets.
it must be said about the Rockets, man, because they just lost Harden, they just lost Westbrook.
Yeah, That's a
You'd
pretty-
think that this team would be tanking for a while,
right.
but dude, they've been building up really
Yeah.
well this last two seasons. Well, last season and including
Yeah.
now, no?
Dude,
Yeah, galing.
they'll probably still suck.
Fertita's doing a great job.
No, I know
Better
that's why.
than Maury.
Believe it or not, he is. No, they could still suck, but can you imagine that 1 year turnaround that they have? All of a sudden, they're all young.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's it.
expected they'll suck, but you already see the potential.
Yeah.
With the pieces they've been putting together. Galing, man. That's a pretty
And then-
And
bang-up
you know
job.
what? At the end of the day, for me, with what they have with Jalen Green, never mind that winning. If you have an exciting player and a bucket
Oh,
getter
yeah.
like that, you're
Yep.
gonna sell tickets,
Yeah.
dude. Parang,
Yeah,
forget
I know.
about winning.
right?
I'm
Right,
actually torn. I'm actually torn about Jalen Green because if he's going to be that good, he might not play for Gilas.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about this na
Diba?
we need him to be that fringe all-star lang para
At sama daw. Jalen, siguro wag muna all-star ka
hindi,
agad.
no,
ng mega.
hindi, no. Well, our goal naman is the World Cup in 2023, which we
Yeah,
will
yeah,
host,
yeah,
diba? And even if he makes it to superstar level, I don't think he'll be that superstar level after year 3. So
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
he'll just be on that right level na that could entice him to play in Gilas. Because again,
Right.
for me, we had Jordan Clarkson, which is the closest dude we have as in the
Yeah,
NBA
yeah.
as a success, diba? And then we have of course Coach Poe in Miami. A lot of people bandwagon to Miami because of Coach Poe.
Yeah.
Dami
Right.
naman eh, everybody bandwagons at some level. And
Yeah.
that's an easy reason for you to bandwagon in Miami, diba? Now, you have a Jalen
Yeah,
Green
naman.
who's who could be this first Pinoy superstar that we can
Phil-Am
have.
superstar, yeah.
Phil-Am superstar, diba? This would be an easy bandwagon for Pinoy fans, dude.
Dude, I'm pretty sure now there's a lot of new Pinoy Rockets fans as the season will come along. I
Yes.
mean, that's
Yeah. I mean,
And
including us, dude. Including us.
yeah,
'Cause we're,
yeah,
let's
dude.
let's not point fingers. Let's admit it now.
I
We're
know.
all bandwagoning.
Yeah, I went from 1 year not allowing any of my kids to wear Rockets gear because they were so against the Warriors. To now, I'm like, wow, the Rockets are so nice and young, and
Yan ang
but
yan ang 180. Yan ang 180, grabe. For good reason naman kasi the
yeah,
people that you despise there are out now,
are out.
which is
And
Maury and then Doc Rivers. No,
yeah,
the Maury and
Chris Paul.
and Mike D'Antoni, diba? So
Well, okay, and of course, and I want to put this. I mean, it's just like the whole. I still love Manny Pacquiao as a boxer. So if you're gonna show me a Pinoy, even Phil and he reps the Philippines. He's not shy to say he has Filipino roots, right? So I'm all for that, man. I'm behind that type of
yeah.
athlete, so to speak, diba? I mean, why not?
Yep.
I
Yeah,
nako,
and that's what's easy with Jalen, diba? Kasi he recognizes it eh.
yeah, yeah,
Iba
yeah,
naman kasi na we're kind of forcing ourselves into the athlete na parang, oy, Pinoy ka la.
yeah, yeah.
Kaya, but shout out mo naman kami, diba? There's nothing like that with Jalen Green, man. I mean,
Uy, but some are saying that nga because I think his roots are kind of far. I think it's his great grandfather
right,
who's
right,
pure Pinoy,
right.
diba?
Not
So
even the mom, diba? The mom's like Phil Am also eh.
yeah, the mom's Phil So
Uh,
it's like correct me lang if I'm wrong. It's either his grandfather or his great grandfather who's the pure blooded
yeah,
Pinoy,
so
right?
parang a fourth
Right.
lang, a quarter lang,
Yeah,
or even an
yeah.
eighth of him is
But he's smart enough to say I'm repping
right,
Pinoys here
right, right.
in the NBA.
Definitely.
So
No, he's already marketing himself, man.
yeah,
Just to
diba?
say he has a chip on his shoulder just because someone was picked at one
Yep.
position ahead of him. The guy knows how to market himself. He's
And
got what 1.5, 1.7 followers already on
and
IG.
and
I
it's
bet you 500,000 of those are Pinoys.
right. And
Yes,
yeah,
you know,
Easy.
yeah, good point, Jay. Kasi it's
yep,
very
yep,
telling also on how big the basketball market here it
Yeah.
yep,
is with us, diba? And even with
yeah.
a country, even with a small country, it's huge. And I think when he went here, he saw how big the
Oh
market
yeah,
is here. And for somebody that's smart enough to get, I mean, I think he got it. And that's why he's kind of riding on it.
Yeah.
And that's fine, diba? You
Yeah.
ride on that
that's so,
wave,
Yeah.
we'll ride it with you, man. Just play for Gilas
Right.
and and lalo na if
Jeremy
he
Lin
plays,
lang eh.
yeah, lalo na if
Diba?
he plays for Gilas, dude. They'll
dude.
just make him
Oh, yeah, man.
ibang
He
level
can
yan
be
dito.
he can be our Luca. I'll take him
Yep,
any day.
yep, yep.
Okay, so I mean, unless you have my only last thoughts now on the summer league and this whole rookie stuff. That the only thing is that I think again, Atlanta's kind of unfair. I think Jalen Johnson dropped a little bit
Jose
too.
Atlanta.
Unless his attitude really gets the best of him while he's a pro. I
Yep.
think Atlanta got a really good one there in Jalen
Right,
Johnson
right.
again. He's
Grabe,
very
no?
athletic.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the luck brought about by Jamie Gertz.
Jamie Gertz.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Jamie Gertz because Jamie Gertz is the wife of the owner of the
Of the
Atlanta
owner.
Hawks. Yeah.
Tito J, paki-explain lang
Ayan,
po.
baka hindi nila alam.
Tito J, paki-explain po kung sino po si Jamie Gertz sa mga hindi po
Si
nakakita.
Jamie Gertz, crush siya ni Julio nung bata pa siya.
Bastos! Wait. Wala akong comeback dito. I was left with my... Hindi mo lang makita but I'm left with my pants down.
Ano yan ni Tio Julio?
Tio Julio.
Tio Julio.
Hey, I don't care, man. Jamie Gertz. Every man at around our age who has watched Lost Boys knows the name Jamie Gertz. That's all I'll
Jamie
have to say.
Gertz.
Lost
Yeah,
Boys.
man.
Lost Boys na
And
sa
she was
Netflix ba yan?
Wala pang
And
Netflix.
Lost Boys. Wala
VHS
pang
pa yan, Mike.
Netflix. Betamax pa yun.
Okay, let's close that.
Okay,
Okay.
no, but
Okay.
just to end that point with Jamie Gertz. She was a babe enough to land herself a billionaire. Diba? Ayos na yun.
So what are you saying?
Panalo siya.
We never had a chance. Ganun ba yun?
Unless you've got ka-ching.
Yeah, no, well, no. I struck it gold with my wife. I'm all good, man. Jamie
Diba?
Kurtz, who?
No, no, no,
Because I know she's watching. I think.
I was gonna say, this is not our private chat, dude.
I know. That's why. Exactly. That's why I put that out there, kagad, para I can continue doing more streams and
Okay.
podcast.
So,
All right, moving on.
Malice,
Moving on.
Malice in the
Oh,
palace.
wait. Before Malice,
The infamous,
Wait,
let's
before
talk
Malice.
about
the
Let's talk
wildest
about
brawl ever.
No, let's talk about. Wait, hold on. Before we go to Malice, let's talk about.
Oh.
Let's end the free agency now, because I mean,
Sige.
Okay, let's just end.
Sige.
I guess I only have. Okay, I only have 2 points to make in free agency. I don't know, Mike. You have anything you wanna share about free agency
Well,
or tie it up?
for me, free agency, it circles around Ben Simmons situation now.
Well, yeah, that's one.
Dame whether he's leaving or not.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Dame, and yeah, medyo there is relation. I mean, let's talk about Ben Simmons first. What I'm seeing is three parties three possible scenarios. So you're looking at Dame, which is I think what they're waiting for. Kasi parang
Yeah.
there's no sense in Philly waiting this long to deal Simmons. Kasi the longer they wait, the more leverage they lose with the trade. So it doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense for me is why they're waiting for Dame's decision. Now there's also one option in Sacramento from what I'm reading is Fox. I think another guy, I forgot the guy, and then picks. So medyo ano yun, medyo
Yeah.
it's a big price for Sacramento to get Simmons. And then the closest to 1v1 trade for me in the scenarios is Ben Simmons and Lavine, because we know there's still some kinks to iron there in that Lavine situation with the Bulls.
Bulls.
That extension they haven't agreed on the extension yet. There's a
Hasn't happened
scenario.
yet. Yeah.
There was an incident where Lavine had to cry out, "I want respect in this contract extension." So for you to call out your
Okay.
employer,
Yeah.
I want my respect. Diba?
Right.
Give me my respect.
Yeah.
There's something up, diba? There's something fishy
It
going on
seems
there.
it seems that they're far apart with regards to the
Right.
final digits.
And that's probably a 1v1 more of the kasi if Philly
Yeah.
goes to Portland to trade for Dame, Philly will have to give a lot for Dame.
Yeah.
Can't be
Diba?
just them.
And then it's the
Yeah,
opposite scenario with Sacramento, where Sacramento will have to pay a lot for Simmons. So the closest
Or-
to a straight up
Right.
trade is
Or the Warriors that they're saying.
Or the Warriors,
ever
diba?
or the Warriors.
the closest to a 1-to-1 trade as you can get is Lavine and Simmons.
Lavine.
Now, there are arguments for Lavine and for Simmons. If you look at ceiling, or maybe what you call, playoff potential, if you look at kasi Lavine's game, it's so built for the playoffs. Ngayon, it hasn't been proven because he hasn't gotten there. But if you look at what's the skills and the skill set and the game, his game is it's bagay to the playoffs, man. It's skills that you can use in a playoff situation. Bucket,
But-
but
it's already there.
it's already but it's all theory. It's like Devin Booker before last year. It's all
Yeah.
theory. You have all the skills.
Yeah.
It's potentially good, but you haven't seen it yet. So it's not. You can't sell
Right,
at full price yet, diba? So
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
kind of the situation. Now, that's a situation that Philly can take advantage of also. Kasi they can still have that argument against Lavine. And okay, scorer nga yan player mo, but he's unproven. Now, if Lavine goes through a playoff, kunyari, Lavine went through one playoff run, then that could have been another story, diba? Pero so yeah, that's the only I think that's the only story that's worth following pa in the coming because I don't think
Right.
Simmons they'll allow Simmons to be with them when training camp starts. That's just a bad
do you-
idea.
The Sixers can also argue there na, if you look at Zach Levine's already at his peak. I don't think we'll see any more wildly improved parts of his game.
of Zach
whereas
Levine.
Ben still has a lot to
Right.
improve. And he
And I
hasn't
think
hit his ceiling, nowhere
right.
near his ceiling yet.
And I think that's that. It kind of, if you look at what's happening with the Bulls, all of a sudden the DeRozan trade makes sense. Because if they knew na that there was something, there were gonna be, what do you call this? There were gonna be
Having a
hitches
hard
along
time with
along the
Levine.
way with agreeing with Zach Levine. Then the Rosen would have been a perfect safety net to come in, just in case things fall through and they have
Right.
to move a different way with
I
Levine.
hope I hope he sticks around though, because I wanna see
Yeah.
that Bulls team perform, because I think they're a pretty good team
Mhm.
with what they have right now.
They would be a
If
good,
if they
yeah.
get everyone together, yeah, solid yan.
Which the problem with Levine is that he hasn't signed his extension yet.
I think the
Ganun ba yan?
offer. Well, he got 84 million. If I'm not mistaken, he got 84 million. They're offering 105. If I'm not mistaken, it's a
Yeah.
20%. It's a 20% increase from his former contract. Now, some can argue that that's below market value for Levine for where he is at his career now. But then,
He should be getting the max, like in the upper 20s or
yeah,
30 million.
ngayon, parang I feel that I don't think the Bulls are there. In kumbaga, it's an ano it's he's an untested
Yeah.
potential for them. Na if he can, kasi again, it would have been different if it's a number two guy or a number three guy.
Yeah.
You're basically betting on your manok na. You're betting
Mm-mm.
on him being your franchise player. So that's a big difference for when you're just getting pieces to fit that franchise player. Ano. So I think that's
Right.
where the hesitation is. If he
Ay,
is indeed
baka
franchise
naman
level,
dumaan kasi lighting.
franchise player level.
Yeah. But but the Bulls, they made that. I mean, they chose to go win now already. I mean, that's
Right.
all their moves since the trade deadline has been. They got Vucevic, they got Levine. That's already.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't go back from this anymore. And
Pero let me tell you this,
Oo,
why
ayusin
I
nila
like,
yan
why I
dapat.
kind
I wanna
of,
see them run that lineup.
yeah,
I mean, Levine's good for the Bulls. I agree. But the reason why I kind of followed this storyline when I saw discussions on it online was I'm
Ah,
interested also to see Levine in Philadelphia.
okay.
I'm
Who?
interested
Well,
also
yun
what it
pala
looked
yung
like.
punto nun.
No, well, no, no, not lang that. Because I mean, it would be interesting also to have a lineup of Embiid, Tobias, Seth Curry, and then Levine.
Zach Levine. Yeah.
Dude,
If well,
ibang ano yan. I think the way I wouldn't say it's not necessarily saying that Levine is better than Ben Simmons. What I'm saying is when you insert Levine there and take out Ben Simmons, that might be a better gel for the team. That they might
I,
actually go farther.
I'll tell
Well,
you
most
this.
definitely a better gel, because they already ruined their relationship with Ben.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way
No,
to
well,
go but
There's
up,
no
diba?
relationship.
Well,
He's not
yeah.
talking to
yep,
anyone from the Sixers, man.
yep.
So, yeah.
No, well, I just think that Levine would probably be a more traditional way to go about it with the Sixers. I mean, they knowing Maury and Doc, they just probably play a if they can. That's if Levine can play a pick and roll game with Embiid.
Mm,
If Levine can do what Harden did and have Embiid as your mega hyped up Capella version of that
right.
type of offense that Maury liked
That
in
combo,
Houston,
yeah, yeah. Pwede, no?
then that might work even better than Levine. I
And
mean,
and
than
and,
Simmons.
and also having as your combo wings, having Levine and Tobias
Yeah,
beside
yeah, yeah.
beside a Seth Embiid PNR PNR action, and then you have those two scorers on the wing. Dude, it
I
might be an
mean,
upgrade.
yeah. Yeah. No, scoring wise, it's definitely an upgrade. Defensively, though, it's a downgrade.
Yun lang. Yun lang.
So it depends on what you want
Yes,
to run
Yep.
talaga,
that's
and
true.
what the system needs.
Right.
That's true.
Knowing Doc, I don't really know if that will even work with Levine. Having Doc pa din as the coach, dude.
Yeah, we have
I don't.
we have Bobby here actually commenting. 84 million is good enough for Levine. Schroeder just got 5.9 M.
Wait, see, that was gonna be my point number two. Thank you,
Ay,
Bobby.
oo,
Okay,
yan.
we'll get to Schroeder.
Schroeder and Dipo, ang dapat
Yeah,
pag-usapan.
yeah. But my last take kasi on Philadelphia is that I don't know, man. Philadelphia went through a whole Sam Hinkie process. They went through
Right.
all this tanking to get all these stars, and now they're left with what? Potentially one left from that process, which
Right.
will be
If
Joel
Ben
Embiid.
leaves, which
If
will
Ben
likely happen.
leaves, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a coincidence that it happens to be na naman Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey in
Yep.
the whole mix
Well,
of this. I mean,
that's the problem there actually. Kasi they went through years with this trust the process mantra, diba? Na para trust the
yeah, yeah,
process, trust
diba?
the process.
But they
The
dropped
problem,
the ball on that process.
hindi, you know why they dropped the ball? Kasi there's no continuity. First of all, or
Right?
the front office and organization was crap, and then now you have somebody an entirely new team finishing the end the
The
end
end.
of the process. Dude, wala.
Okay, remember I used to
Right.
gripe. I used to gripe to you guys. Yung what's that? Elton Brand comes in as the GM. Siya yung GM,
Yeah.
di ba? Kasi okay,
Uh-huh.
he comes in as the GM, and then he decides to get Jimmy Butler. Di ba? They got Butler from Minnesota. Looks good, right? And then at the end of that season, I'm not even sure if Brand came in after that, but after they got Butler, they decide to not keep Butler, even though they brought Toronto to a game seven.
Right.
Right? They said they let Butler go, and they get Al Horford. They
Right.
re-signed Tobias for that contract, which I hate, making him the top 15th player paid in the NBA last season. So now they get two centers, Al Horford and Embiid, with Tobias and Ben Simmons, and completely have no shooting that year. They have zero shooting, right?
Dude, I
Got rid of Redick pa.
actually
They
Who
yung
got
was their best shooter?
exactly. They didn't also pay Redick. So
Yeah.
we go to that. So Elton Brand loses face now. Looks really, really bad in that bubble series.
Uh-huh.
What does he do to save his face and probably save his job? He hires Doc Rivers, who also sabotaged his Clippers being up 3-1, and Daryl Morey, who also was in a way out situation by insulting China in the Rockets. Diba?
yep.
Those were two people who were out.
Yep.
And
Oh,
then
and
here
he
comes
screwed all that up with the Rockets with starting with SP3 and then with Brody.
Okay. Well, okay, but
He,
with
fuck, he
Morey,
fucked that up also.
no, it started with SP3, but then I think Fertita, the one who you're talking about, it's all coming together now on a macro thing. Eh. Fertita and him did not see eye to eye because Fertita came in
Yeah.
when the Chris Paul thing came, and then
Right.
Fertita he's a businessman. Eh. Diba? He's a hard-nosed businessman. He kind of
Yeah,
didn't like where
right.
Morey was going, so they kind of had banggaan about the spending and all that. And then I think Morey just ended up fucking it up for him. You know, like, you don't want to do this?
Yeah.
I'll get Westbrook. I'll go super
Sabotahe,
small
eh.
ball. Sabotahe rin
Right,
si Morey.
right.
Eh. Dude,
Oh, sabotage.
getting rid of Capella. Could you imagine that? They got rid of. I mean,
Yeah. And look at Capella now with the Hawks.
ginawa,
Solid, dude.
super micro ball, and then ano ginawa
Yeah,
rin
he
nila
was one of my best players in fantasy last year.
And then what did they do to Mike D'Antoni on the last year? They got rid of all his assistant coaches.
Yep.
See Mike D'Antoni. I mean, it was already that situation was wala downhill na. But yun nga.
Right,
So
right.
Elton Brand, to save face in that team, yan ang mga hinire ni Elton Brand, the fresh Doc Rivers and the fresh Daryl Morey.
Yeah. He's gonna go down with those two also, man.
So
Ang galing yan.
so now we see the
Anyway,
situation
so
of Philadelphia again.
you were saying about Schroeder and
Okay, no.
and
So to
Pico.
answer
Para we can end this segment now. Let's move on to
you want to go to
Malice.
Malice from the Palace? Okay, we just checked. So there was a question. So like Bobby goes that Schroeder gave up his 84 million for 5, right? But as trivia lang to everyone,
5.9.
5.9. That's not the only time that's actually happened in the NBA. I'll give you
And
the.
it's not the worst, apparently.
It's not the worst.
Everyone thought it was the worst.
Everyone thought it was the worst. I'll give you the honorable mention. Ano lang muna. Nerlens Noel also gave up a $70 million contract with Dallas. to
Galing
sign-
though, no, that he was able to play himself into a better contract. again.
now, yeah. But he
Yeah.
signed for 4.1 that year after rejecting the $70 million contract with Dallas.
Solid, no?
But the worst so far that we checked is, oh my God, Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo rejected a 4-year, $112 million contract.
Like,
Jesus, and that was with Indiana, and the deal he signed
yeah,
was 2.3 million.
right now, no.
No, not with the Heat that year. He
Again, he
rejected it.
got an extension again this year, right?
No, he signed
He
again
only
for
got a 1 year deal.
vet
Again, vet
minimum again.
minimum.
Yeah, vet minimum na naman siya.
Yep.
So he ended up
Wala,
signing
di
for.
siya makakaisa kay Pat Riley, dude. Bibigyan ng barya-barya yan until he can play without an injury.
So there to answer Bob to answering Bobby, yes, I mean that's.
Yeah, yeah.
But believe it or not, it was Oladipo who I think is the winner here for
Boys have had the worst.
the worst.
Well,
On,
a lot of
I
people, di
kind of
ba?
ano though, I kind of feel bad for Depot though, because he's a good guy. He's a very talented guy who proved himself already. Who when nagkamalas-malas lang
yeah,
eh. Unlike with Schroeder, who was being, who's
Sure,
being an ass, man. He thought that riding that Laker wave hopefully would take them to the finals again. It didn't happen.
yeah.
He wasn't able to prove himself. He didn't get the playing time. He underperformed also on that first round loss to the Suns. So sorry.
Ito,
He kind of
ito.
deserved that.
Small paragraph from it. In 2020, Victor Oladipo was still playing for the Pacers. The Pacers had a strong young core emerging, and Oladipo's place in the franchise had taken a backseat since his injury. But the franchise
Yes.
did make him a strong offer close to 112 million over 4 years. Oladipo rejected the
Solid.
offer, and the franchise sent him to Houston in the James Harden trade.
Right.
You know,
And then,
it's funny. We always joke about. Anyway, we used to joke about this a lot in our chat, diba? With all when these things happen, diba, through the years. Pero, diba, I think we had a prolonged discussion also with the IT when IT didn't get that contract and
yeah,
he ended up vet
that,
minimum, diba? And then
yeah,
we had the laugh na parang kawawa naman si IT na parang fuck no. Dude, they're still millionaires. They're still millionaires. They still earn more than us. Kawawa tayo. Sila hindi sila. They'll never be kawawa. I mean, you just have to, I'm sorry, you just have, IT, you just have to live with $3.5 million a year, man. I mean, I just have to live
Right.
with my salary. Screw
Right.
that. But,
Ayan.
I mean, but
Ah,
on a serious note though, I mean, it's funny how people judge also the mga Scottie Pippens who sign long-term contracts for security. Na
right.
parang ay nako, a lot of people judge Pip during that time na parang
during that time.
you were an idiot for signing a 6 year deal right before
Right.
before
Yeah,
you came into your own, 'di ba? Pero this is the flip side of it. Diba? It's funny how they judge people
yep.
like that na you're stupid for signing a long-term contract, yet you judge also people like this na you're stupid for for shooting
Turning
for the
down.
moon or for shooting for the
Yeah.
moon kasi those are
Right.
two different kind of courses to I mean paths
You're
to
right.
lead,
Right.
diba? So alin ba talaga yung if you look at it, ano ba talaga yung tanga? Sino yung tanga, sino
Well,
yung, diba? End of
when
the
it
day, again
yeah,
with the
when it comes
injuries. Yeah, go ahead.
no, go for
No,
with
no,
the
no,
injuries
no,
because
no, parang, diba, these things, there's no right or wrong. Eh. Sometimes there are just variables that come
there's just
along the way
situations.
with
Yeah,
injuries, with circumstances, with teams, with
yeah,
even relationship with coaches that kind of set your career off course. A
yeah.
lot of variables that you can't really say na once one what's right and what's wrong at any given time. It's just it's a lot of luck also that's involved with it.
Gonna bring it out. I was gonna say
Um,
I'm at DeMarcus Cousins there,
Mm.
who when he got his Achilles injury with New Orleans was
Right.
offered. He was offered 40 million for 2 years, and he
Yep.
rejected it
Yep.
because he was going to be a free agent, and then
Right.
no one would get him. That's why he went with the Dubs na lang for 5 million
Yep.
that year, diba? But it's just funny because that 2 year $40 million deal could have been his 2 years to rest from the Achilles injury and
Right.
come back strong.
Right. Right. Live
right.
live
He
with
kind of forced the
uh,
issue. Eh. He forced the issue.
He
Wanted to
forced the issue.
return right away. Worked hard naman to his credit. But then because of working too hard, he re-injured himself.
dude,
Yeah,
dream ng lahat yan ng mga regular folk yung live with pay.
that's why, guy. No, but
20 million leave a
Live
year,
with pay,
dude,
di
for
ba?
2
20
years.
million. Forget.
40 total.
Imagine
Damn.
this, Jade. 20 million for getting well.
Yes.
Right? Right?
Diba? I mean,
I mean, can they pay me
Nuts,
20
diba?
million for this pandemic,
Parang
please?
si ano yan.
Wala akong gigs, wala akong events.
Dude, parang si ano yan.
Wala akong
Who was that?
trabaho, putsa.
Parang yung Sopranos yan, di ba? Paying, for not doing the office, paying that guy 3 million for not doing the office.
Paying, yeah.
Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini.
Gandolfini, di ba? 3 million. Just don't do the office. Here's 3 million. Don't accept. Sarap.
Don't accept the job with that.
Si Bobby has been off the hook here with ano
oh, go.
Just
What's
watch
Bobby?
just watch the Malice documentary this afternoon. Si
Oh,
Tinsley
yun
pala ang
na.
pasimuno eh.
Oh, we'll get. Okay, you know what?
Yan.
Anyway,
Let's get to
Segue
that now.
let's
Let's
na
get
tayo.
to
May
that.
perfect
Yeah,
segue
no,
ako eh.
yeah.
let me
yeah,
read
yeah.
through all his
We were
comments
talking
lang because
about...
Okay.
he's been pretty active here.
sige.
Thank you Bobby
Okay.
for sticking for hanging out with us. But seriously, I don't get why people say it's a bad thing. It's the best thing that happened in the NBA. I mean, talking
Which
about
one?
Malice in the
What?
Palace.
Well, okay, we
And
can
then
get to that.
watch
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Burr
Ano
stand.
kasi, proponent din si... Like us, OG basketball
Right.
fan si
Yeah,
Bobby.
yeah. Oh,
Ito.
yeah.
Diba?
Bobby's-
None of us enjoy seeing all these flops eh.
Wait,
It was a different game a couple decades ago.
I'll
Yeah,
just say
yeah.
something about Bobby. I don't know if Bobby played varsity, but I knew Bobby in college. We were both in the University of Asia, CRC, together, and I just saw Bobby as
Oh,
Bobby.
Konyo College.
Nice.
Yay!
Nice. Anyway, Bobby was his rock star blues band stuff, but dude, the guy can play some mean basketball. No joke, man. Bobby plays some mean ball, so he's quite OG also, actually. And so, is it? We'll get to the Malice in the Palace, and then we'll just close this thing. But I will say that
Yeah, because
si
we're running
IT,
almost an hour na, ha? I've been
One
trying to segue kanina pa eh.
1 week na ba? 1 week tayo hindi nag-stream.
Wala,
Si
dude.
IT,
Ano to mga... These are all,
Dalawang oras yata to.
medyo mga naburo to, dude, ng 1 week na we need this release. It's been a
Yeah.
long week.
my closing thing on IT was that it was just funny. The problem with IT was that he was too chatty. Alam mo naman si IT, intrigero masyado yun eh. Whenever he goes to any team, he creates some weird conflict, right? And the whole time that
Yeah,
last year in Boston,
Napoleon syndrome yan eh.
yeah, the whole time in that last year in Boston, they were all saying na nga that are they gonna give IT a big max contract because he's so short? I mean,
Ay,
he's-
excuse me guys ha.
okay. And then the problem there was he kept on making yabang about his Brinks truck. I mean, diba? The Celtics better go and bring up the Brinks truck. Yun.
yeah.
He had to find the Brinks truck in Cleveland because they traded him for Kyrie.
Okay,
That's what
let's go to Bobby's comment here on
Oh, go.
DeMarcus.
Well, Jay's not here. Okay, go.
When Cousins got injured, nauso yung pray for DeMarcus hashtag. I'm like, F that. He makes millions to get well. He doesn't need my prayers. Amen.
Yeah.
Bobby, we had the same. Yeah, end of the day, these guys are. I mean, it's a lot also with saying, with what's wrong with today's NBA as far as our generation is concerned and how our generation sees it. These guys are, whatever reasons they have, we're not to say that we're trivializing mental health and all of these things. But end of the day, you're looking at regular Joes earning a living in the corporate jungle. And we suck it up. We suck it up. We go to work. We suck it up for whatever peanuts they pay us. These guys are getting paid
Right.
millions. You guys are getting
right.
paid millions, and you're getting paid millions to do something that you love to do. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not gonna cut anybody any slack. Now you're earning this
Yes.
much to play. I mean, it's not work, dude. It's play.
Right.
Diba?
I-
So
I just don't know how you give up anything. Let's say even DeMarcus at that time. I don't know how you give up $40 million. I mean,
well, that's greed, dude. That's greed.
I don't. Well, I don't. Like there. I don't. But we all said Oladipo was a nice guy. How do you give up $120 million unless
Well, here's the
Super
thing
ba-
also. Ako din eh. Actually, that's interesting because
super
I
bad
don't
the
know.
clause pala?
Yeah. I don't. What we don't know is how much is it the fault of the player and how much is it the
Or
fault
the-
of the agent.
of the
agent.
agent. Yeah, that's
Kasi
why nga.
sometimes
That's what
these,
I was gonna
di ba?
say.
Parang hindi mo rin alam eh.
Yeah.
How much is it the fault of who, di ba?
Right. Bottom line, though, you should be able to dictate to your agent what you want. Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the
if you're,
I-
diba?
that's what I would think also na parang that's the default kind of situation there na the player kind of dictates it. But parang with some of these deals that
Yeah,
are
but
falling through,
there are
parang,
players that aren't as savvy as others. No?
But the,
You see the Michael Jordans or the LeBrons or the Kobe's who were able to handle their money
Yeah,
really well. Or even
right.
Magic. Magic owns a baseball team. Magic
Right,
owns a
right.
ton of malls in California. You know, there are some who really know how to handle their moolah, and
I'm
some who
gonna
don't at all. And so they really leave a lot of
Right.
those decisions to their agents.
And I
yeah,
think
but
it's funny
But on,
you
yeah,
mentioned that side of it. Ako, especially for players nowadays with social media, I think it's a lot to do with the PR also. That PR around
yeah,
the certain player with
right.
especially when you're on a contract year and all that. Kasi, well, that's a point that I wanted to bring up with Malice in the Palace as we move forward later, no? Kasi that's something also that was
Soon, I have a
yeah.
segue na eh.
Yep. So yeah, so
you
you
had a
guys
segue 30 minutes ago.
Kanina pa yan, oh.
sige na nga. Sige na.
Okay,
Sige na, you
one
know
more.
what? I'm on my third shot already. Baka hindi pa tayo
Yeah.
maabot sa Malice. May
No, no.
apats na ako.
Oh,
No, wait. I'll just say that.
so,
Alright.
oh, yeah
If
pa
we're
yan.
gonna blame-
Laging meron to eh.
Wait, no, last na. If we're gonna blame the agent, just remember, just remember, if we're gonna blame the agent, Timofey Mozgov accepted his $64 million for 4 years. Okay.
Dude, forget
Dude,
that.
mahusay agent ka.
No. Dude, forget that. Luwol Deng is still getting paid to this day.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
Dude,
That's why the Lakers are hard cap. That's the real reason.
Dude.
Friggin' Luan
Dude, Deng is the third highest
Ayaw.
player in the Lakers now.
Yes! Matagal
Tayo
na.
na.
Hayop yan.
You know what? Kung ako si Deng,
Napamura ako tuloy eh.
dude, kung ako si Deng, I would call Melo right now. Dude, how's practice?
Ayos tayo, sarap sampalin nun. Ayun ako. Sino ba naman yung bobong gumawa kasi
Ay, nako.
nun? Yan yung kapatid pa ni Jeannie, di ba? Jeannie na ba yan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeannie na yan?
And the
Or
GM
the
at the
brother?
time was the brother of Genie.
The brother nga!
Okay.
Ang kinang gago yun eh.
No, but
Di
di ba
fuck us up talaga.
no, but the rumor was there. They did that because they knew palabas na sila. Yan yung mga sabotage moves, just like what Maury did to the Rockets. They leave
gago, hinard-cap niya LA hanggang
Yeah.
ngayon.
So that's what
Buisit ang hype
that's
na
the
yun.
thing there. Parang Kupchak knew he was gonna be gone. The brother of those that powers talaga ha. O sige, here's Timofey Mozgov for 60 million. Here's Luol Deng for I don't know what million. Bye-bye.
Parang 100 something yun, dude.
Yeah, that's
Ayok.
why.
That's why we're still hard cap.
Bobby has a question. I
Anyway.
think in relation to Deng's contract, is Gilbert Arenas still getting paid?
You know, from what I know, parang hindi na yata.
Good
I'll just-
question.
No, it's. I'll just type it up right here to see if Gilbert Arenas is still. What?
Gulo
By the
nito si
Wizards?
Bobby. Di ako makasegue.
Actually, while Julio's searching that up, You can-
Mag-tito-joke ka na lang, huy.
while Julio's
Hari ng tito jokes yan eh.
I just wanted to say, no, while Julio's searching that, we can be like Siri also for your basketball info needs.
Yeah.
The sniper questions will be the one to Google it. See who actually, when I say we, I mean Julio, kasi he's the guy.
Ako na bahala.
He's the guy in our chat to do.
No, well, okay. Gilbert
He should have the beard para siya yung balbasarado sa starters eh.
to me?
Oh,
Yeah, you're the computer guy eh.
Dude, yeah, but I can't
Ikaw
have a
itong
beard.
mabilis mag-type eh.
My beard's gonna look like eyelash. Anyway, no. Well, the last I see here on Sport Track is that Gilbert Arenas was last paid na in 2040, but as late as 2014. So,
Ang tagal na rin.
tagal na rin.
Uy, champion Spurs dyan.
Huy, Malice na nga. Maalis na tayo sa Malice.
Let's go. Let's go. Go.
Let's go na. Sige.
Oh, we're talking about millionaires and all that. Medyo that's how we segued into all these contracts
Okay.
and all
Yeah.
that.
No, but okay.
Yeah,
So,
the players that were involved in Malice at the Palace were called millionaire thugs,
Yeah.
which I feel naman was very, very
Uncalled
brash
for, yeah.
and very irresponsible and uncalled for by the media.
Wait, let's start it off first with the documentary on Netflix by this series called Untold. let's intro
Excited,
them on what we're
excited.
talking about.
Kanina pa excited si Jay eh.
Usapan eh.
Okay, no, we're gonna talk
So
about.
ako haba-haba kay Schroeder. Pis-pis naman yun.
You know what? Okay, basta there's a documentary on Netflix about the famous worst rumble probably in NBA history called Malice in the Palace.
History, yeah.
Well, worse
the
or
NBA.
best. Worse or best.
Worst or
Depending
best,
on where
depending
you're.
how you see it. So, which was against the Pacers
Kay
and
Bobby Alvarez, the best yan.
the best and the Detroit Pistons. So, if you have time, it's an hour 9-minute documentary, and it's a really good one. And Jay, so
Hi.
now,
Aha. Go ahead while I'm fixing my drink.
yeah. So what
Ako din.
happens?
I was, but I needed a refill before this
Okay.
topic. Go.
quick strip down memory lane was that I remember watching. I was checking out fantasy, the scores.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I was at work,
Oh.
and I was refreshing because wala pa naman. I mean, it wasn't live yet. I was at work also, refreshing, and all of a sudden this Indiana Detroit game does not. It doesn't want to refresh. All the other games are finished already, and this one's not finishing. And lo and behold, it comes out. There was a big rumble. Now, what ends up happening, as being known as the Malice in the Palace, is that Ron Artest, before he was Meta World Peace, gets into a fight with Big Ben Wallace, and the fight ends up going into the stands because a fan throws a bottle at him. Artest charges the fan. Stephen Jackson gets involved. It gets into a whole big fiasco. Jermaine O'Neal gets involved. Crowds are throwing popcorn and drinks at the players. Players are on the floor. I mean, fans are on the floor picking fights with players, and it was just it was horrible. The game never ended. I don't think there's ever been a game that has not ended since then. So I don't maybe the earthquake one, that summer league game with Zion, that did end. But I don't know if an NBA game well, it never started. The whole thing of COVID, remember? They just canceled that thing. I don't think an NBA game was just ever ended
How
like
we get
that.
to COVID?
No, because I don't remember that an NBA game was ever stopped. Just all of a sudden.
Without a
Yeah.
resolution.
When that fight happened, they didn't finish the last 30 seconds, or I don't know what happened there.
But the game kasi was practically done already.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
and from there,
that's why whatever Artest did to Ben at that point of the game was ridiculous. But then we'll get to the real reason later.
now
Go ahead.
you're saying that the big effect. I mean, the first thing that came out from the media there was that the NBA was a bunch of thugs, right? The
millionaire thugs. Yeah.
Which is true, because I was telling my wife, I was telling Raquel at that time, we were watching it, and I told her that, you know what, that was really the NBA at that time. That was the time in the 90s. It was the whole hip hop East versus West thing, and everyone in the NBA was very gangsta. It was so gangsta.
Yeah,
that, remember,
yes. And
the big shorts,
right.
And it was so.
And that's
Iverson had
what's
a coffee.
And this was what triggered the dress code bigla in the NBA.
Yes.
So funny.
Yeah.
That was such
Yes.
that was a funny
Yeah.
rule actually.
Yes. Well, because naman it was.
They
Isaiah
ended up
Ryder.
wearing suits.
Yeah,
and
it
all
was
that,
really,
but-
it was optics basically for the NBA with the hip hop X NBA that started in the 90s, diba? That was a 90s movement with hip hop being one of the better decades for hip hop, diba? And the cross
Right.
between when it kind of crossed over to basketball.
Eh, tsaka this isn't just hip hop per se. This was East Coast versus West
Right,
Coast hip
right.
hop.
Yeah.
You're talking NWA against
Yeah,
you know,
Tupac versus Big, diba? So
against
parang-
Biggie.
Yeah. So
So
that was
but
my
in the
it was,
NBA,
it
that
was
was my
really
jam.
gangsta. It
That was my
really
jam,
gangsta.
dude. That was my jam.
Biggie or NWA?
I don't know. Wait. West Coast. West Coast. West side.
Coast.
West side, the best
West
side,
Coast.
dude.
I was actually.
East side or the west side?
Mike was going. This is my jam, like he was a surfer.
No. No, dude. West side.
No,
West side, the
yeah,
best
no.
side.
Mahalo!
Kaya nga sabi ko, wait lang, kasi it wasn't automatic. It's not automatic in my fingers.
Okay.
Ito.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I did first, and then I kind of go in like this. I almost lifted my finger when you
Ganyan,
joked.
ha?
I almost
I
did
know.
this when you joked.
I,
I
I
was
know.
gonna do
I really,
this pero parang naiwan yung dalawa.
I
Naging
know. I
ganyan.
know. Like,
Anyway.
Please,
Facebook
hindi
might
ganyan.
Facebook might stop. But anyway, but there, yeah, that was the time of the marriage of the culture of NBA and hip
Mhm.
hop, and it was
Right,
getting
right.
to a
Yep.
because Sina Magic's time in Jordan, it really wasn't hip hop so much. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
they kind of,
No, not at all.
but when Sina Iverson came, when Sina Garnett came, when these players came, it
Yep.
was
Yeah.
so gangsta. That was the gangsta time in the NBA, and it's
You
funny how
mentioned Gilbert Arenas. Gangsta
exactly,
rin yan eh.
dude. The guy was suspended for pulling out a gun in the locker room against Jordan
While they
Farmar.
were playing
Yep.
poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, was it in the locker room poker ba yun, or
Oh, on a bus.
on a bus ba? Basta yun, he pulls
On
out
a
a gun.
bus.
Was it Farmar? Jordan Farmar? Si Farmar ba yun?
Could have been, huh? It could
Yeah, yeah.
have been.
I know. I'll check that. But they're there. So that and this whole rumble, the Malice in the Palace, did not help that image at all. That was, and it's so funny how they did you see what David Stern did?
Well, ito nga, si Bobby just...
Yeah, no.
Si Bobby has a
I
comment
think it
here
was an
about Stern
over.
eh.
Yes. Oh,
Stern
go
did.
go.
I love how David Stern said it's unanimous.
It's
1-0.
1-0.
1-0.
Sira ulo eh, di ba? Siya lang talaga eh.
Talk about power trip, diba? Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
dude.
unanimous.
Yes.
1-0.
Yes. No.
1-0.
This is my take
Yeah, yeah,
on,
okay.
on how Stern handled this. I think he took advantage of what happened. Took advantage and did something to try and cut that hip hop whatever culture that was happening in the
Or
NBA.
thought
But I think it was an overreaction. Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
it was an overreaction to what really happened there because it was the fan who started it. I mean, at least that's what everyone saw was that
Yeah,
cup that flew, from the stands to that landed right smack on Artest, who was just lying down, minding his own business because apparently that's what his psychologist told him to do. So he was actually trying to calm himself down. Peace, 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 meta, 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 and all that while lying down.
I like
But
how
I really think Stern did an overreaction and used the opportunity, used what happened in Detroit as a stepping stone or as a whatever to put his foot down. Like he said, only one guy made that decision, di ba? Put his foot down and did what he did. And pretty harsh. Artest got suspended for the whole year. What's his face?
Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson, yeah, got 25 games. I think
Same with
O'Neal, Jermaine got about the same. So medyo wild.
I think
Wild.
to add to that, Jay, with the overreaction, I think also we have to consider the eras and how the power of media was
Media screwed it up talaga.
during that time and now. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty much the same. Parang that was a precursor already. During that time, the power of
To
media was
social
a
media
precursor.
now, no?
Was a
Yeah.
precursor already to what it is now. The difference, though,
Right.
is for me is the power of media then was one-sided.
Mhm.
It was just media going
Well,
out.
yes.
Good
Wala
point.
na-
Diba?
Yeah, good
But
point.
then now
Yeah.
kasi you
Walang
have
boses yung players
yes,
doon
and even the fans. There's no
Right.
now we have social media that it becomes a two-way
Yes, everyone
street,
can
diba?
react. Yes.
And everyone
yes,
can
yes.
air
You
their
hear on the other
opinions
side.
in public.
Yes.
So it's medyo two-way street.
Yes.
So
Mismo.
now I think the overreaction there was what was acceptable during that time, because as far as optics is concerned, it was only the media's voice that was getting heard, and
Yeah,
not really feedback
They
from
didn't bother interviewing the players.
yeah, and even the ground level, and even the fans. There was no
Right.
reaction from the
Nothing.
ground level.
Yeah.
It was a reaction
Yeah.
from what media said. And if you look at
Right.
that collection of media clips from different news reports, and you look at it now, and parang I was looking at here. Let me read a comment of a particular reporter actually that said there. So the reportman goes, there is real resentment, and I quote that, there is real resentment against some of today's major players. Many of the fans consider them to be overpaid, underperforming, overly coddled, and immature. They were saying that in 2004. I mean, they haven't seen anything yet, dude. If they look at the players now, dude, if they're saying that to the players in 2004, they haven't seen anything yet. Because if you look at the
Kyrie. Hello, Kyrie. Hello, KD.
yeah, it's funny how actually when I
Yeah.
thought and we decided to make this a topic, I was watching it. I was like, you know what? If you look at the
Dami
players now,
segue, eh.
and then if you look at the players now and you watch that, I was like, are you
Yeah.
kidding? Are you kidding? I mean,
Yeah.
diba? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
To be
I'm not-
fair to the players then, those players worked their asses off in the court, man. There's
they
no
won.
reason for
And-
the
and-
media to say that, di ba, babanjing
And-
sila.
and then-
That wasn't the game then.
Jermaine
They,
O'Neal.
they were watching basketball. They might have been watching baseball kung banjing.
And then-
Yung sinasabi nila, dude.
if you're talking about it legally, Jermaine O'Neal won the court battle.
Yeah, he did.
Because
He
again,
did. No, they all
yung masakit-
did. They all
hindi,
did.
ang masakit
They-
kasi, what
diba,
media
all
did,
three,
media wrapped the whole incident into one ball and judged it with that one ball.
Yeah.
But if you look at
Right.
the what happened, it's a series of different
Yeah.
events. Eh.
of
Now,
events.
if you break
Yes.
it down into different events, there is a right and wrong to that particular sub-event, diba? But the problem
Yes.
is media just wrapped it up into one ball and
No.
said mali yan. And then that's
Right.
it,
Yep.
diba?
No,
Okay.
and one other point lang to add to Mike's. When the media came out with the story, that whole video that everyone saw, that we saw back then, was already edited.
Right.
They only showed what they wanted to show. They didn't show the whole picture.
Right.
None of us saw the
Yeah.
whole story.
Yeah.
Only now because the docu was finally
Well,
released.
I saw it. Yeah, but to add to your thing, that's the most operative word there is media. It's
Right.
a whole when media gets into
Yeah.
something and creates a
Well,
whole narrative. It really goes
Yeah.
off. I mean, they create narratives just to create narratives already.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
I
off
hate
the chain
I hate
narrative.
NBA media. This is why actually why we do the bench, because it's a layman's view on how we
Yes.
see the NBA
Yeah.
and aside
Through
from
the
all-
media,
Actually,
man.
yes. yes.
No,
Just to emphasize that point, yes,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
No, and we see past all the media BS on how they
Right.
try to
Yeah.
either lift up a player or tear down a player, like Stephon Marbury. How they tore down. We had
Kawawa yan, dude.
no access to
Kawawa
what
yan.
we would have seen now on
Right,
Stephon Marbury's
right.
side.
If they had social media then, yeah.
We just knew Stephon Marbury as an asshole at that
Right,
time because
right.
that's what came out with the
yes.
media.
Right.
Diba, yeah. I
Because
think
of what they printed.
I think yeah, we
and
watched
said.
we watched that Starberry docu,
The Coney-
diba? And I think
The
we had
Coney
a
Island docu.
conversation in our chat room on how different
Pretty long one also.
yeah. And how different, diba, we
About a show.
our perception on Marbury was in the 90s and what it is after you watch the docu, diba?
Yeah, diba?
Right.
So kawawa din eh.
No,
I
and it's
feel
so-
for Marbury now.
and it's so weird how such an asshole pala in the US can become such beloved
Right.
person in China.
Right.
I mean, person
Because the guy wasn't really an asshole per se.
Exactly,
They
yeah.
just painted him to be one.
Yeah.
now I have a
How
different
can he be loved that much, diba, if he's really an
Exactly.
Well,
asshole?
ako, I wouldn't say naman that he's totally not. I think it's not
No,
no, it's
but
not
he's
that
not naman as much
no.
an asshole as
not
he was
an a-hole,
painted out
diba?
to be.
Not a
Right.
basshole. I was gonna say basshole, but
Iba,
no. I was still
Yeah.
iba topic yan. But an a-hole, he's not there. But again, ako kasi there's also that upbringing which is nobody's fault, diba? You can't choose your upbringing.
naman.
You can't choose the
Yes.
environment
Yeah,
you
naman.
grow up in.
And same with AI.
Yeah, diba? So you can't
He
really
was a
judge
survivor.
them on that. Ano,
He was
diba?
from the hood. I mean, you have to be a survivor when you're from the hood. You
Dude,
can't be all that.
Or
Dude, it's worse for him. Kasi,
legit hood yan, ha?
and it's worse for him because he grew up in the hood and then he was pampered by his sisters. So
Well,
that's a
yeah, yeah,
double
yeah.
Right.
whammy for me. That's a double whammy for me
Yeah,
na
binaby pa siya eh.
pampered ka na, tapos you have all of us after that pampering, you have to go out and get into survival mode. Dude, that's the worst. That's possibly
Yeah,
the
yeah,
worst
yeah.
recipe for somebody who's going up that superstar kind of life,
Right,
diba?
right,
Well,
right,
okay.
right.
Now, if we'll rein it all back, I just have a different take on David Stern because, yeah, it was an overreaction, but this is David Stern.
Right.
This is exactly how David Stern operated because David Stern
Yeah.
was the one who cleaned out the NBA in the 80s.
Right.
He certainly was stern.
He was Stern. I mean,
Uh,
he took
Pun intended.
he took the NBA from that drug partying
right.
hippie, not hippie, but
Right.
the cocaine, that
Yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah, yeah.
NBA with the ABA, that whole thing that they had. That's why the 70s was it wasn't so good for the NBA
Well,
and the ABA because
yeah.
the NBA players were seen as drug takers,
Yeah.
parties, booze, and all that. David Stern completely turned that around
Yeah.
and used
Clean that up. Yeah.
Magic
Yeah.
Johnson and Larry Bird to become the face of the NBA, and he cleaned out all that stigma from the NBA one by one. But he
Right.
was very harsh on all these mga Roy Tarplys. He didn't want any of that. Remember
He
the
was harsh on players that weren't as popular as Magic and Bird.
well, yes, big yeah,
Because Magic, we all know, still partied.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's a
Hence,
good
what
point.
happened
Well,
to
yeah.
him,
Yeah,
dude?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
May,
That's a good point.
may hall pass.
Diba?
The hall pass.
May hall pass. Yan si Stern.
MJ had a good all pass also. If you talk
Hindi,
about the
ano lang
whole,
yan. It's either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
yeah,
Diba?
yeah,
Yun lang yun.
Right.
Ngayon, kung problema ka,
Well,
but you are a solution also. Sige, pwede yan.
pwede na,
Pwede.
yeah, yeah.
right, right. To be fair, as much as Magic was partying, that
Yeah,
$1
yeah.
million smile sold tickets.
Well, that's very true. So yun.
I mean,
But kumbaga, that was in line. Kumbaga, yes, overreaction by Stern, but that was David Stern. I mean, that's how David Stern's tenure in the NBA was. That's why you couldn't mess around with Stern there because when there was an opportunity, like you said, for him to nip something in the
Yes.
butt, he will really go
Yeah.
for it.
yeah.
That's why all the way till he did just suspend him. It became about the dress code. It
Right,
became
right.
about
Right.
He wasn't even done. He wasn't
Right,
even
right.
done with the
Yeah.
suspensions, dude.
No,
so
no, no.
yan.
But
Even
well, my real gripe naman was with the media more so than
Okay, I mean,
Stern.
sa akin lang, ito, let me just segue to this. So sabi nga nila, ask and you shall receive. I don't know which of you guys requested for a Tito joke kanina, pero Bobby has one. If if NBA players didn't use Coke, wala si Bates sa NBA. Sa PBA. Wala si Billy Bates sa PBA.
that's really
Yan ang cokehead.
that's not a
Yan ang
Tito.
cokehead.
No,
Not
I
a
mean,
Tito
it's just a
joke.
segue to that kind of
Dude.
joke that only Titos will understand.
That's not a Tito joke. That's just hilarious.
No, it's not a Tito joke, but the Billy Ray Bates kasi reference, di ba? It's
Yeah,
all,
Tito pa rin.
mga ano yan, mga Titos only.
You're dated to have known. You're dated
for
to have
those-
known Billy Ray Bates.
For
Tito
those who
joke pa
understand
rin.
talaga. For those who understand.
Right, right, right.
You know what?
But that guy, even when he was playing for Ginebra here, would party todo, man. 5, 6 chicks in his hotel room after coming from the disco. Wild Nancy Bates.
You know what? Okay, I'm looking for something here because there was that Spirit of Saint Louis. Okay, if you guys have ever, I don't think you have, I'm trying to look for the name. There was a documentary on that ABA team. It's called the Saint Louis something. I think the documentary is called Spirit of Saint Louis. It's weird because this was during the ABA time and they were really known to be the party. I mean, it was so much of the party. Mike D'Antoni was part of it. You know what I mean? So he was so partying. And when the ABA was folding, and they talk in the documentary about how bad the ABA really was. That's why they were also folding one by one. And this documentary is just cool. I mean, it's just the fact that the NBA has an extra team until now still being given TV rights because they had.
Really?
Because when they fused with the NBA at that time, I think 5 teams, all 6 teams yata, 5 or 6, I could get the number wrong, all remaining ABA teams were supposed to go into the NBA. They were excluded, their team. And then their players were broken up. Sina Moses Malone were broken up into the other
Right.
teams lang. So,
Right.
but they were gonna sue the NBA, this St. Louis something. The NBA now struck a deal with them and told them that they will give them TV rights from that time. And then the contract said percentage lang, because they thought, TV rights at that time was small lang. We'll give you a
Sure.
percentage of the TV rights in perpetua.
Wow.
So
What the
that
deal?
perpetua is still going on until now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that team is they are getting millions. The two brothers who own that team are getting millions now just by doing nothing.
Wild. What team is this?
I'll
St.
check.
Louis?
Yeah, I'll check on the
Wild.
docu. But there, so that's how bad it was there in the 70s. So if we
So going back to Malice.
going back to Malice,
Yeah.
what do you have to say about the real instigator of the real instigator of
Dude, right? Artest had an awesome game. He was one of the reasons why they even beat Detroit that night.
yes.
He had an amazing game. He was cool. He was collected. He was calm until friggin' Tinsley makes bulong bulong and sets him off to friggin' hit Ben Wallace, who naman just had his brother pass away. Wild, di ba? So it kind of all just happened because of Tinsley's bulong. He could have shut the hell up and none of that would have happened.
So the
That-
setup
that-
was
Yeah, just by that bulong, he ruined a lot of careers, man.
so the setup
Jermaine
was
in particular for
In
me, because
particular.
at least the other two ended up with teams and won championships still.
the game was tambak with something like 40 seconds left, right?
Yes, like 15, 16 points.
Yeah, and then everything was going on, and then I think Artest got fouled kind of hard on some other play, and then with 40 seconds left,
Really?
Yeah.
No.
yeah, no, because Artest got a little bit of a
Indeed,
hard
bro.
foul, and then that's when on the succeeding play, that's why Stack Jack was kind of like,
Tinsley went
goes
out
up,
to him.
kasi tapos na, wala na yung game, 40
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
Tinsley goes up to Artest, so now you can get your foul. And Stephen Jackson was like, what? What are you doing, man? It's like, and
Sira ulo.
it's kind of like Winter Soldier.
Yeah, exactly. Di ba?
When he-
Ibubulong lang yung passcode para magwala ulito.
and so yeah, and the whole fight starts and all that. You know what's funny? No one mentioned. I read about before that they talked about Tinsley, but it did not come out like how they were talking about it now, man.
Right.
Not with the main not with the
Yeah.
major media outlets. They never mentioned Tinsley. They never said that Tinsley said something to Artest.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
And
I only found out
and
about
that's-
it when I saw the docu.
And that's a problem even with today's media. Imagine that whole story. Who got the brunt of it? O'Neal, Artest, and Stephen Jackson, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tinsley was
O'Neal
never
being the most
mentioned.
kawawa.
Tinsley was
Tinsley
never
was
mentioned. But then Tinsley is not a story. Tinsley is
No.
not a story. So isipin mo that
because
injustice.
he's not even a major part of
Yeah,
the team
exactly.
per se. Yeah,
Dude,
he's a
he's
starting
not
point
even-
guard, but
He's not even
he's
in the,
replaceable, man.
dude. He's not even
No.
in the docu. He's not
Yeah.
even in the freaking docu. So he's not a
No,
story.
they
And I think
didn't
it's
bother to ask him why he said that.
it's awareness also with today's media because it's pretty much the same thing that's happening now. If you're not a story, you're gonna be left alone. But then ang kawawa
Yeah.
is the injustice is with people who are in that position, and you know how these things
Right.
are, and you know I've ranted enough in our chat room also about how media treated Tiger Woods, diba? Na you know, it's so stupid how they shut down. You know, they built up Tiger Woods. They shut him down the moment
And they shut him down.
he and then now that after
Made
he
some
won,
mistake.
and after he won, all of a sudden he's a media darling again. Naman, make
Yeah.
your freaking minds up, dude. As in, diba? I mean, just
Media sucks, man.
pick a lane. Don't
Yeah,
diba?
yeah.
For me, it's
Yeah,
just pick a
yeah.
freaking lane. 'Di ba? Ngayon parang gano'n
Right,
eh. That's
right.
why I think that's where we're coming from din with our collective despise of sports media in
Yeah.
general. Just
Oh,
nuts.
dude.
So this is the that was mga 30% na alcohol talking na kasi I got pretty riled up with that.
Grabe si Jermaine up to the very end,
Yeah.
up to now,
Yep.
essentially, really had his bones to pick with Artest because, di
Yeah.
ba, Artest decided to leave it.
Right.
Yeah,
He couldn't play. He was banned for the rest of the friggin' season. You
it's
know?
funny, but it's funny
So,
though. Okay, it's funny about that. We talk about Jermaine and all that. Uh, Tinsley instigated the whole thing, but don't you? Artest is just really a nut. I mean, I'm gonna be. He was really a quirky. He was just a big
oh,
quirk. I mean, he even
yeah,
admitted it.
but
Diba? Full of
it's nothing worse than a Rodman. It's nothing worse than a
yes,
Lance Stevenson,
yes.
right?
Well,
We get these
he
kind
says
of players, you know,
For
during
me lang,
several decades. You'd have one or two of these
yeah.
type of players,
one
eh.
of my
Diba?
takeaways, one of my takeaways from the thing was, it's now lang na I realized how smart Rodman was pala.
He's smart.
'Di ba?
He just
I mean,
chooses to
and
be
and, and
spot
and
on.
and how much wisdom he actually has. Kasi parang if you look at Rodman, if you look at Rodman's story as it, lang by itself, you'd think this guy's crazy because he did pretty much. He asked for the mid-season playoff break. He did everything that Artest did. Pero
Kung
parang
siya
pag
pumunta ng Vegas
di
para
ba?
magsugal at
Di ba? Bago
pumati, eh.
mag-finals, in the middle of the final,
Bago
in
mag-final.
the middle of the freaking finals, dude. So ngayon, pag tinignan mo as it is, parang gago tong tao na to. Pero if you look at Artest, na parang, kahit pa paano pala Dennis, parang Rodman knew what he was doing. He had a grip on
But,
things, 'di ba? Kahit pa
Yeah.
paano in
yeah. Well,
relation to what Artest was going through, 'di ba?
Okay,
the difference lang between the two, Rodman was psychoanalyzing himself, right?
Right.
And
Well, yeah.
he like you said, he went out on binges and shit, slept in his car sometimes because he couldn't sleep at home and whatnot.
That's a good point, dude. Yeah.
Artest was getting advice from a therapist.
although
Early on, apparently
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
Actually,
already
yeah.
seeing a
yeah,
therapist.
Just
no,
to add,
I,
just to
no,
kind of close that comment of
yeah,
yours, Jen, to add to it. I think that's the difference. Yeah. Si Artest needed help. Si Rodman knew what he needed. That's why he asked for
Yes,
it. That's
that's
why he
the
asked for
difference
it.
between
Right,
the two.
right,
Rod,
correct.
Right.
Tama ka.
Rodman. Let's put it this way, Rodman. That's why I said that Artest was just really quirky and a little bit nuts because yeah, he was diagnosed.
Right.
He
He said
was.
he was
He was.
diagnosed
Yeah.
talaga with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Now,
And
I don't.
anxiety, that's hard to deal with. I have anxiety myself.
Yes, yeah. No,
I
but
have to deal with that every gig, dude. Every
so,
gig.
but all I'm saying is that we see the quirkiness of or even the anxiety or the state of Artest even in the way that he talks. Even the way he talks there
Right, right.
is
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
different. So no problem. I mean, in fact, it's actually good because can you imagine having those supposed to be limitations in your mental health,
And
mental
still be
state?
able to perform like he did.
Exactly, right, diba? So we just call it a spade a spade. He was really compared to Rodman pa nga. I don't know if Rodman was
This guy should have been an all-star if not for
yeah.
Malice at the back.
I don't know if Rodman was
Easily.
I probably would have been also diagnosed that way. But I think Rodman was I would put it pa nga more that Rodman I don't know. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say Rodman, like what Mike said, probably was more a little bit controlled. He just liked going a little wild. It's
Here,
like
I
it's
think
like
it's awareness. Na, you know what? This is what
It's
I need.
awareness
This
there.
is
That's
yeah.
the key word.
yeah.
He was aware of what he needed.
It's kind of like I'm gonna bring into it. It's like here. It's like Paris Hilton versus Lindsay Lohan. Both seemed like a wild child going nuts and parang it seemed
Right.
like everything was. But in the reality, Paris Hilton was just making more money. Lindsay Lohan
Because
was
Paris Hilton was controlled.
exactly. It's
Uh,
more pang
He
you
knew
know.
how to control her tendencies.
Yeah.
Lindsay
So
was not.
yeah.
Lindsay went on a bender, eh, and
So
got really hooked.
so with Rodman and Artest, Rodman had his antics, but well, Rodman won 2 championships early. Rodman had his probably his he had his anxiety, his problems with his family. He saw Chuck Daly as a father figure. He had that, but he won 2 titles in Detroit. He made a name for himself, and then he just kind of, I mean, later on he did the same with the Bulls. So he was always able to
Yeah.
He
go
had
to
it
a
in check.
certain
He had it
limit,
in check. Kumbaga,
then
he looked
rein it
crazy,
in.
but then call it his coping mechanism. If he had to
Yes.
wear a wedding
Yeah.
dress to keep
Coping
himself
talaga.
sane, 'di ba? Then so
Yeah,
be it, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi like I
Yeah.
say naman in the ano, 'di ba? I'm not a fan of Rodman because of his fashion sense, dude. That's not why I'm a fan of D-Rod, diba? I'm a fan because of what he does on the court. So screw that. Whatever you do
Right.
on your own time is,
Right.
diba?
I
That's
was gonna, yeah. To Mike's point, I was gonna add to what Mike was saying there. That's the one thing that Artes and Rodman had in common. You put them in the court, both of those players will give it their all
right,
in a game to win, whatever cost, dude. Both of them, you'd see Artes fly off the sidelines
right,
of a
right.
court and land on the seats or wherever just to get to that ball, man. And both of them were that, and I would think both of them are winners, at least in my book, on
both of
how
them
they
won.
played the game.
Dude, both of them won. I mean, that's not
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they weren't just
They weren't ano,
like Robert Ory, who was lucky enough to
the
be in a lot of
or
teams that won.
they weren't.
No, they contributed to those wins,
Yeah,
man.
and they weren't just ano Reggie or Barkley winners, quote unquote winners.
No, 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 they actually
They're
won
actually
rings.
winners, dude.
Yeah, man.
We'll explain that inside joke in some other time. Pero yeah, we
well,
have that
you know,
one.
You,
That was
we all,
that
we
was a long
also, we
argument.
also, we also that interview in the docu when the Lakers won the championship with Kobe. Diba? When Artest was seated beside the panelists and
oh,
they
and he
were talking.
remembered, and he knew exactly.
And he said out loud in front of the whole world watching how much of a coward he was now
Mhm.
for leaving Indiana and leaving Jermaine there to rot in Pacer hell, whatever was left of that team. Galing actually of him to say that, and even repeated saying it during his interview for the docu. I mean, kudos to him for knowing
Yes.
what he did. And, di ba? Galing. Galing. Sa
Actually,
akin, nakabawi na yan si Meta eh.
let
How fun. Okay, go, Mike. Because mine said it's just a little tidbit
no, no,
on
sa
connecting
akin,
both of them.
my biggest, well, the biggest thought that came into mind actually after watching it for me is I couldn't help but compare it to current NBA. If you look at what happened to Artes during that time, and he was diagnosed with a mental condition.
Yeah.
If you translate it to today's NBA, the smartest thing to do there was to just come out,
And
say
Burn
that
Sage.
say that you have burn sage. No, come out, say that you have a mental, that you have a mental problem and that you're fixing it. That's the PR of today's NBA.
Yes.
Diba?
That's what Kevin Love did. That's
That's
what
what,
Kevin Love
yeah,
Well,
did.
that's
yeah.
what you would do, diba? Pero
Yeah.
during that time, mental conditions were trivialized. They weren't
Yeah.
taken
Yeah.
seriously. They were
No.
BS during that time, 'di ba?
Wala,
And
kuku. Sabihin lang,
and
kuku yan.
for me, it makes me feel more. It makes me feel. I mean, it makes me look at today's NBA with more disdain and on how spoiled these athletes are now compared to the athletes before. Because these athletes before, even before the era of Jermaine O'Neal, if you look at the 90s and the 80s, they had to endure more things. And I'm not talking of on court action, I'm talking about off court action. It's different. Again, this is one of the reasons.
Well,
I'm all over the place, but then hear me out loud. This is also one of the reasons why we can't compare goats. We can't have a goat conversation because it's different in different eras. But
yeah.
then, but then back to my point. And sinegway ko lang yun. But then back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my
yeah.
point. Back to my point. These athletes live different lives also. It was a different life for them. It
Different
They were
upbringing. Yeah.
upbringing different. social dynamics,
Yeah.
different media, different fan dynamics, even everything's different. There's so many variables na nakakainis. Wala, not man, I mean, it is what it is with today's NBA, but nakakainis lang when you look at players like that, and then you look at the players now and how they're complaining about stuff. When you, when you look at past players and they have more to complain of and did not
Name them
complain.
na. Si Kyrie, si KD.
Yeah. Okay, fire away. I believe you have a list, Julio. Let's segue.
No. I was just actually, I kind of forgot. Well, first of all, it's funny lang.
Cheers. Sorry, medyo nag-ano na ako. May kasama ng hugot tong mga monologue ko. Sorry.
It's funny lang how our tests, I mean, all these, okay, I'm going to call it firecrackers, of these two firecrackers we were talking about, our test and Rodman, they both have a connection to the Philippines. Artest has a Philam son who he wants to join Gilas. Remember? I mean, he's still out there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Artest has
Does he go? Does he go with
Rodman's dad naman was based in Subic. Diba?
Does he go with Artest or Meta? World Peace.
I don't know. Baka,
Yeah, okay.
I think he really changed his name na. Meta World Peace na talaga siya.
Hindi, pinalitan niya pa
Apparently
ulit.
the Meta thing.
Pinalitan niya pa ulit.
The Meta
Wala na
thing
ata yung World Peace.
means something in Hindu, no? It's sort of like a yoga thing. It's sort of like a peace, my brother kind of thing. Galing actually, because now I understand why he wanted to change his name. Because he wanted to change. Period.
Yeah. Yep.
Diba? He wanted to be a better person. He wanted to be a better player and all that. And galing, he was able to turn things around, go full circle, and then win a couple rings, man. Solid.
He was always a good player, but it's
Good
just
story right there.
it's a good story right there. But my okay, if we're gonna
you know what's funny lang with how media kind of dictates everything and kawawa din these players. You know what'd be funny? If 10, 15 years down the line, we watch a documentary and Kyrie was not an a-hole naman pala all this time.
ay nako.
Meron din mental lang yan. I'm sure. I don't know if
Pero
he's been
diba,
diagnosed.
it would be
But
funny.
he needs help.
It would be funny because
Me, okay. I'll say this lang. Our test, yan. I agree with you. I mean, but watching him, he admits that really he has something. Whether you call it something mental or some anxiety thing, whether you want to call him nuts, not in a bad way, in a good way, because he's also nuts on the court. He was the one I find hilarious, though. I mean, good for Artest. How many people? I mean, he's probably more successful than me. Yeah, he's more successful than me, and I'm not even sure if I'm also okay. But you know what I mean. He was able to make a good life for himself. Let's say, despite all the limitations. So I mean,
Ano rin yan? This guy also grew up in the streets of New York, man. You know.
So I
medyo
salute that.
hard life yan. Ano yan, barkada yan growing up with Lamar Odom.
Oh, okay, but okay.
They were close friends growing up.
Talaga.
Yeah, they were in the same teams. Grade school, high school pa lang.
But my
Both
favorite
of them New York guys eh. Si Lamar naman, the dad was a junkie. So he had to deal with that also. Isa pa yan, di ba, na nagkaroon din ng mental breakdown eh. Wawa din. But they grew up and they came from the same hood.
I didn't know that.
Galing though, di ba? Nag-abot pa sila dun sa Lakers championship team na yun. Body pala talaga sila.
This is Laker trivia already. This is cool. I like it.
Well.
I did not know. But younger si Lamar or almost the same sila?
No, they're the same age.
Talaga? Oh,
same age. Played in the same grade school, high school teams. Went to the same All-American, whatever, McDonald's All-American thing.
But my favorite, okay, now I'm gonna move on. My favorite talaga there was still Stack. I mean, I love Stack Jack. I just like the way he presented himself, who just didn't really care. But he was
he's a badass. He's a baddie. He's not a mental case per se.
Yeah,
he's just really a badass.
He didn't
want to leave. He didn't want to leave Artest.
Yeah,
Like, no, I'm not leaving my guy. He's my guy.
he didn't
Hey,
care what
man.
the hell.
Too good din siya eh.
Too good. And at the end, he told the reporters, "I don't care. That's my fam. That fuck you
No,
know."
that's
Yeah,
I
diba?
know.
That's my guy, man.
You gotta
I'm gonna
respect that
fucking kill
also.
whoever needed to be killed.
You gotta respect that also. It goes back to upbringing, eh. And these guys who grew in rough neighborhoods, that's a code, dude.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
code
yeah,
you
Yeah.
live by
You don't
growing
leave
up.
your bro hanging,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
And
yeah.
and
But
and if you look at it from
Galing.
that perspective, that's kind of honorable, 'di ba? Na at least may ano, 'di ba? There is integrity in that
yeah,
depending
Most
on
deaf,
how,
man.
how what perspective you're
How
looking
you
at it.
look at it.
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
and he didn't
But you're
care
right.
what the consequences were. He just knew he did what he did because he does what he does.
Because he
That's
didn't
how,
want to leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
Diba? Don't leave a guy down. Yeah.
his
'Di ba?
principle is that that's my teammate. He's being attacked. I'm gonna
Right.
help him.
Right.
Am I
Right.
fucked?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I'm helping. That's it.
Ang gago was the fan who actually threw that. And then when Artes went up to the stands, was
Iba,
started hitting the other guy
yeah.
beside him. All he did was step aside and let things happen.
Tinulak niya
And
pa.
he was laughing
Tinulak.
and smiling pa. And
And
then
that's
the post interview,
yeah.
puta, he was still happy the shit happened. Walang
Yeah.
remorse. Yan ang gago.
That was
Yan ang culprit, yan ang gago dyan, man.
I did
Oo,
not
kasalanan ni Tinsley, inumpisahan niya, pero tinapos nung gunggong eh. Sira ulo rin yun.
I did not know from this whole time. I read the boss telling you I kind of read about Tinsley. That's why when we were messaging
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
di ba kasama si Tinsley? You go no no. But anyway, I kind of read that they were already mentioning that he was really the trigger. We've been before, pa, even though it wasn't really
Right.
out in the main media. I did not know. I never got to read na that these fans pala were persecuted also. I did not know that.
Right.
I didn't know that this Josh Green guy or whatever his name was actually tried for misdemeanor or whatever types of case na
Dapat
Assault,
lang
kinasuhan siya.
parang assault and battery ata.
Dapat lang. Pero misdemeanor lang.
Well, yeah,
Isa pa, isa pa dyan sa the whole thing that happened. The security at the palace. What the hell were they doing, dude? They were wanking off while this whole thing was... They weren't doing crap. Nothing. Somebody had to call 911 and ask for help. What the
Oo
hell
nga.
was that, dude?
Mas ready pa yung
Diba?
ano, no? Ako nga
I
pare.
could have easily stopped that early. Tapos, yung isa pang gago, sumugod pa kay Reggie. Pucha!
Ako nga,
Si Reggie pa yung papagalitan. Hindi
Oo nga.
ako nga dude,
si Reggie itong umawak.
mas
Wait,
ano
wait
pa
a
eh.
minute, dude. The guy's in a suit, ha?
Dude, ako nga mas listo pa yung mga security guard sa Ultra eh.
Totoo, di ba?
Mas ready
They're
pa
just
sila,
so
lalo na
cool,
pag Ginebra naglalaro. Ready na
eh.
yung mga yan. Ready na yan.
Ang wild lang eh. Ang daming stupidity that happened that
Yeah.
night.
So, do you want to know how much they lost, give or take? Because when you get suspended from the NBA, now
Right.
let's go naman to Jermaine.
Oh,
O'Neal.
that's a lot of money.
Jermaine-
Artes lost a lot. That was the remainder of the season for him. And what were they? They were in like game 10 or 11, something like that.
Yep.
Right? The season just started.
86,
They were
7,
7-3, eh, no? They were 7-3 heading
games.
into that game.
9
9,
games.
so 7-2.
Because
They were
Artes
7-2 heading up to that game.
he
Wild.
he loses 73 regular season games and 13 playoff games. $5 million he lost at that time.
Wow.
Kasi when you get
Wow.
suspended without pay yun eh. That's
Yeah, that's a
without
lot
pay.
of money, man. Yeah.
Stephen Jackson got lost 1.7 because I guess he had a smaller salary for 30
Right.
games, and Jermaine O'Neal na 15 games lost 4.1 million for 15 games. Wow.
He was the highest paid
Yeah.
player there.
Yeah. So yeah, based on in that documentary also we see that yun nga si Jermaine, I guess, got the biggest.
Siya
Biggest
pinakakawawa.
loser, in other words, di ba?
Yeah,
He was
dude.
he was not
He never won one.
He was
Hindi
not
na
one of
siya
the-
nakaporma ulit.
Yeah, and he wasn't even seen as a bad guy before that.
No, not at all, di ba? Tahimik lang yan. At
Yeah.
saka he was, that guy was dominating the league at that time,
At that time,
As
yes.
a big, he was
Yep.
one of the best bigs in the league, man.
Yep.
And he had to
Solid yan.
he had to work to get there, dude. That's the
Yes, he
medyo
did.
ano eh. Kasi 'di ba he
Yeah,
was
so wawa part.
yeah, 'di ba? He wasn't a superstar
Yeah.
coming in, 'di ba? He's not the mga Zion
No.
or the mga
No,
Luka that may
he
feeling
was
na.
backing up Rashid and someone else pa. Parang
Well,
he was the third center in Portland before he was traded to Indiana.
Because in those times, high school kids weren't really
Right,
a
right.
thing. You know what I mean? That was
Yes, he was high
Yeah.
school yeah.
He was a
He
high
was the
school.
youngest, no?
No,
17?
but
At that time.
17 when he
No,
was drafted at
but he
that
did
time.
pretty
Yeah.
well. All things considered, he did pretty well up to that point.
Yes.
He did
No,
pretty
he
well
did great.
even
Yeah.
He
after
did
that.
great.
Yeah.
He
Even
was
after
able
that.
to take
Yeah.
himself to an all-star level player.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, he did pretty well to up to that point. That he had a lot to lose na by the time he got there. By the time
Oh,
it
yes.
happened.
Yes.
Medyo
Yes,
ano na rin,
yes, yes.
masakit na rin.
The most to lose nga eh.
Yep.
At least, diba, based on what the documentary suggested.
And it's funny how what's his name? Reggie Miller pala just decided to call it quits after that year. He didn't have that thing.
Diba? Yeah. Imagine though, I wanna put this out there. I'm sure you guys have thoughts on this also. But imagine if that thing didn't happen. The what if and the what could have happened for the Pacers that year.
Right. Actually,
They would have faced who? The Spurs ba?
no,
No, they
kayo.
would've-
Kayo.
Yeah, no?
Wait, no.
Huh?
No.
Ah, that was
This
sorry.
No, no,
kami,
no.
kami pala.
No,
This was
Kami
prior
pala.
to
Kami.
the Lakers losing to
Yeah.
the Lakers already lost to the Pistons the year before.
Right.
Yeah.
Tama?
Tama,
The
tama.
first-
So it was the Spurs, no?
Yeah, kami.
That ended up winning. Yeah, so
Yeah. The first question.
Wala na
That's why ako end of the day, wala naman
Kalaglagan
ako.
Lakers after that Detroit fiasco.
That's why end of the day with everything that happened in that night, wala naman ako talaga reklamo eh.
Champion ka eh.
Champion kami. 'Di ba? 'Di ba baka kung hindi nangyari 'yun, baka 4 lang, hindi na ako 'di ba? That's why end of the day.
Pero diba, that would have been a great matchup, ha?
Dude, that would have been
an amazing matchup.
that would have been
Better, I think, than Detroit facing because
No,
Detroit only
wait.
had really Ben and
Well,
Sheed.
Yeah.
not really
None of
kasi
which
may
could maybe
I'm gonna
stop
push
or
back
try
on that.
to
No, well,
stop
not
Duncan.
really. Not really kasi may panapat
Not
din
really
kami.
ba?
We were a good
Yeah.
matchup for both actually. If you
I wanna
break
put-
it down, we were a good matchup for both. Kasi for
for
Artes,
both.
we had a Bowen, dude. We had Bruce Bowen.
Yeah.
For Artes.
No,
And-
di naman yan yung matchup eh. That's not
No,
the
no.
matchup.
No,
There,
I mean-
Artes would likely defend Ginobili.
No.
Siguro.
What I'm saying is
Diba?
we had our own disruptor also. We had our own pieces
Yeah.
to counter the
Yeah.
indie pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would have been great to watch though, you know,
Would've
Jermaine
been-
O'Neal
Dude,
against
okay,
Timmy.
hands
diba?
down, it would have been less boring. Because believe it or not,
Yeah, for sure.
I watched that finals
For sure.
with my eldest son on my
What
lap.
was that? Wasn't that a sweep?
2004.
No.
No ba? 4-2.
So I
I'm
watched-
gonna push up.
I
You
watched
guys
that,
talk
ano.
muna. I will hold up the banner for Detroit. that
Okay,
year, but
ito lang ah.
you guys-
I watched that finals just parang an anecdote lang on that finals kasi
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
the first finals that my eldest son, who is a big NBA fan also right now, that was the first finals he watched, and he was less than 10 days old on my lap
Yeah.
at 3 in the morning because the games used to be early morning pa then. We didn't have league pass or anything like that. So I would wake up at 3 to watch a boring ass game with my son kasi he woke up and I need to feed him milk. So he's on my lap, this days old baby, watching And yeah, it was so boring. If you look at it that way, actually I was thinking about it na leading to this episode and it would get to that conversation. If it were an
Yeah,
Indiana
optimistic talaga
Indiana
din.
San
Yeah.
Antonio series, it would have been more exciting for sure. It would
Yeah,
have been
for
less
sure.
bugbugan kasi that Detroit
Yeah,
Spurs series was bugbugan lang eh. That was defensive. I think there was a game that 80, 60 plus something yung final score.
Right.
And
Kasi naman, the Pacers, even if they were also a very good defensive team with
They were
Artest
also
and
good
Jermaine
offensive
there,
team.
also had swag. Yes. And had swag. They had Reggie pa eh. Diba?
Well,
that would have
okay.
been more fun to watch. nga.
True. There could have been. That would have probably been a more fun final. But I will push back. If there was, okay, now we're gonna get Jermaine. Oh, I'll give you some tidbit lang on Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, just to give you some perspective. I did not realize this. That was in 2004, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal was a 6-time All-Star. 2001,
Right.
2002 most improved when he moved to Indiana. Oh, the second year he moved
Yep.
to Indiana. He was
Yep.
a three-time All NBA. And just a
Top three
trivia,
blocks.
just to give you some trivia,
Uh-huh.
that was his peak year in points average.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it was his
the,
best
the,
year.
that year that the Malice and the Palace happened, every year after that was a slow
Wala na.
decline.
Downhill
Starting
na. Yeah.
2005, that was his.
Yeah.
That was the. So I never realized that was pala the turning point in his slow decline,
Career.
even
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
That's why
started.
he's pissed.
That's why he's pissed.
That's
Now,
why he's pissed. Iniwan daw siya sa ere, di ba, ni
he wants the
Arteste.
because he was already averaging 24 points and 8 rebounds and 2 blocks, and then the next year 20 points na
Solid.
lang, 9 rebounds, 20, 19, 13, 30. So he was after that Malice in the Palace, he was a slow
Decline nga.
decline,
Yeah.
and I think he was
Yeah.
getting a lot of injuries because hindi puro mga 60 games, 40 games na lang, 60 games. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
injury bug hit him. So that was his peak. Can you imagine? That was you were riding your peak, and then the whole fiasco
Biglang
happened.
nawala your team. Yeah. Di
So
ba? And then Reggie decides to retire the next year.
what about that finals though? When it comes to that documentary, I do not exactly think. Yes, they came off the gates really, really strong. The Pacers. I don't know though. I cannot say if they would have beaten the Pistons that year because the Pistons naman were out. In fact, the Pistons shocked a lot of people that year because they called the Pistons a fluke. That was the fluke Pistons title year. Remember because
Yeah.
they fought
They only
the
won one naman eh.
well
With that
they
team. Ah.
they won one and they said that the reason lang was because they fought the oldie Lakers. So what happened the next year is that everyone was picking
Oy, parang
Indiana.
ngayon.
Donovan.
Parang ngayon.
Everyone that
Woohoo!
year was picking Indiana nga to win it.
No.
The hype for
Grabe ka naman
Indiana.
mga oldie Laker team.
Wait, we're gonna get up talk about the Lakers, but everyone was gonna pick
Wala
the
na,
hype.
manhid nga ako dyan sa oldie Lakers. I'm actually rooting for, di ba? We are the geriatric team. Let's go.
Ako, dude, I'm just happy kasi we used to be the geriatric team. If you remember, ako yung alaskado sa chat room dati. Ikaw naman, kami naman yung bata. I'm just, ako, you know,
Ang bata ko naman eh.
who would have thought, dude? Who would have thought that just a few years after, I would be the youngest team in the chat room? Langya.
But
Okay.
so there, Detroit did prove themselves the next year in the playoffs by making it back to the finals
Right.
and pushing the Spurs to 7 games. That series
Suns.
went into
They made it back to the finals. Suns and Indiana team could have beaten them.
that could. Well,
Diba?
well, the Suns,
Suns,
Indiana,
the Indiana team.
that Indiana
That beat
team
them that day.
that beat them that day.
Handily. Handily.
I don't know that,
Diba?
yeah, but that's regular
So
season.
it's still an
It's a
coulda,
question
woulda,
mark.
shoulda.
It's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. And to answer your question, Mike, game 1 of Detroit San Antonio was 84-69.
Yeah, that was the game. That was the game.
Putay na. How can that be entertaining? That's boring as hell.
Dude.
60 points.
Dude.
What the fuck?
69,
Dude, that's
69.
a halftime score. That's a halftime score in today's NBA.
Gumaling
Diba?
naman ng game 2, 97-76, 96-79.
Hindi pa
But
din nag-break ng 100 ang puta.
one game lang, Detroit won, 102-71.
No. Pero you know what was crazy, dude? You know what was crazy? That's how
What?
big a Spurs diehard I was, dude. I woke up at 3 in the morning to watch these freaking games.
Dude, I'll tell you this, ha. Game 7.
Oh, I
game
did that
7
also.
Game 7 was 81-74.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Tim Duncan was the top scorer with 25 points. That's like anong percentage ng points that you
Game
score?
7 pala yan?
Yes,
Game 7 yan?
Bugbugan
Yes.
yan, dude. That's like that's like a Shell parang Chris Patayota
Yeah.
series yan, bugbugan.
I-
dude.
I
Pero
remember-
high scoring yun.
But I remember this, Jay, because they called
120 something yun.
them nga a fluke, and it was this game 7, this series that Detroit went back to the finals and brought the Spurs to a game 7 that made everyone like, okay, Detroit's a legit team pala. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're
What was
that's
funny? What was funny though, the next year wala na sila.
What happened the next year? What happened
That
the
was
next
it.
year to Detroit?
Wala na.
After they faced
2006.
Spurs in the finals.
Who went
What
to
happened the next year?
2006?
Which one?
Wala na, di ba?
Wala na. That was their last
Wala na.
finals.
Wala na, di ba?
2005, yeah.
Yun na nga. So wala din. Wala
No,
yun.
2000.
Swerte sila. Naswertehan yan. I'm not a big fan of that Detroit team.
Pero it's funny. That's one of the first Moneyball teams, actually. If you look at it.
Well, yeah. Well,
Kasi
it's
they
Moneyball.
didn't have a tier 1, tier 2 superstar.
Player. Yeah.
I was telling
That's true.
you guys.
That's true though.
I was telling you guys. No, you know why they didn't.
Cinderella story.
You know why they didn't make it the next year, na? You know why?
Sino
I'll tell you.
umalis?
Why?
Alam ko sino umalis. Billups?
No. Who was I talking about kanina? Na who got all these patapons and made them into a team?
Larry Brown.
Yeah.
yes.
The coach the next
Philly
year na
Philly.
was
No.
Flip Saunders.
Oo.
They changed
Okay.
coach. They were
Tapos na yun.
they were still what's that? Huh? They were still 64 and 18
Where
the
did
next year.
Larry
Dude.
Brown go?
Still a good team.
I don't know
Still a
nga.
good team.
I don't know what happened to Larry,
What
but
was at
they
the
lost.
end?
They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals against who won in 06? Dwayne Wade and the Heat.
Right.
Tinamaan sila ng
Hanep.
shockwave. So, you can't say wala sila in the next year. Tinamaan lang sila ng mas malakas na team in the
What
East.
was the series finale with
Dallas.
Miami and Detroit?
Which one? What do you mean? No, in other words, the next year.
Eastern Finals. You said the Eastern Finals was Detroit, Miami.
Yeah, Miami
How did that
won.
go?
Miami won.
Oh nga, by how many games?
4-2. 6 games pa rin.
4-2.
6 games pa rin.
4-2.
Yeah.
4-2 though.
And then the next year pa nga, they were still 53 and 29. But then they lost
Coming
naman to
out party ni D-Wade yan eh.
Dude, they still made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 more times after they lost to the Spurs. So you can't say hindi lang si Larry Brown na.
I'm not naman saying it's a fluke. But
You know who they lost?
They,
You know who they lost
the
to
ring
naman?
they did win was against a Lakers squad that
Yeah.
had a lot of turmoil, man.
In 2007
Friggin-
naman,
My favorite player, Carl friggin Malone, was hitting on Kobe's girlfriend. Daming gulo ng
2007,
Lakers
ano na yan,
yan, man.
LeBron na yan.
Sira
LeBron.
ulo rin
Cavs,
yung
di ba?
mga napunta
Yep.
kasi sa
Dude,
amin.
that's the Cavs Spurs finals. That's why.
dude,
That's
I'm
the
gonna go-
third championship of the Spurs. Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Ay,
on, ha?
oo nga.
They
Oo
made
nga,
the
oo nga.
Eastern Conference Finals again the next year. Dude, you cannot call this Detroit. These guys were
Yeah.
legit. They made the EFC
No, I'm
again.
not naman saying
No,
they're
Hindi, it's hard lang eh.
Dude,
For
I'm
that,
shocked. I'm shocked because I didn't realize that
it's
they had this much
They
longevity.
were
pala.
competitive
I
for
think
that.
because they were such a moneyball team. I think that's why
Yeah.
lang it's medyo hard to believe na
Yes.
they were actually legit. Kasi they didn't have a big name.
Right.
You were so used
Yes.
to associating championships and winning to big name players that when we see a
Right.
parang team built this way, it's not easy to
Yeah. You know who they lost to naman the next year again? The Boston Big Three.
Boston, yes.
So in other words, they were so moneyball, they ended up losing to all these teams
naabutan
with
lang sila ng panahon. In other words.
always.
Yes. They
They
were
got beaten by Shaq Wade, and then LeBron, and then the Boston Big
the
Three.
dawn of the super team.
Yep. And then the next year na after that, first round exit na
So
sila.
parang ano
against
pala
LeBron.
sila? Shit, pero so pwede mo sabihin parang mga last of the Mohicans pala yan with the mga built
The
not
OG
built.
type of game.
Kumbaga built not bought type of teams, di ba?
Pwede. Yep. I mean, they were all patapon at that time. But Billups was a highly touted guard. He didn't do well in Boston. He was having a okay career in, I'm not sure if Denver ba
Parang
yun
yan.
before
Yeah,
this.
parang row gallery of
Right.
of
Rip was not great in
Yeah.
the Wizards
Yeah.
with Michael Jordan, di ba?
Right.
And Ben
Right.
Wallace was a second round or undrafted
Yeah.
yata. So Larry Brown got all
Ma-
these players, and he got
Yeah.
lang Rashid. Remember, we were checking the salary cap of Detroit. He picked up lang Rashid.
though.
Yep.
No, but he
But
picked up Rashid.
Sheed, though. I'm a big fan of Sheed, man.
But he got Rashid only in that year to get the whole mix. Patapon na rin si
Right.
Rashid from Portland at that time
Yeah,
because Jail Blazers, remember? Di ba that was the Jail Blazers time?
Magulong Blazers na yun, yeah. And they got, ano na yata, if I'm not mistaken, they already had Zach at that time, no? Randolph.
For sure, yeah.
The
They also
Blazers, di
yeah,
ba?
yeah.
When they
So
got when they finally decided to deal Sheed away, they already had this youngling na solid in
yeah.
Zach na, who was coming
So
off the
So
bench to replace Sheed at Portland.
I mean, you okay? So you guys have final thoughts on Malice? I-
I don't
Yeah,
know.
or you have more thoughts to offer? Because if you have more thoughts, I'm good, man. But if you guys have final thoughts,
No, you know what? That was my only thing about the whole. I love the docu. My only thing was like I was well, I guess to sell the whole docu is that the Pacers were strong that year, but Detroit was a. I still remember in my head kasi at that time, and at
yeah.
least I got some validation now, was that Detroit was a legit team at that time. I mean, they had some,
So
you
was
know,
the Pacers before that happened.
yes, but kumbaga, I still think,
They already fought in the Eastern Conference Finals the year prior
yeah,
to Malice at the
yeah.
Palace, di ba?
But there was no
Yeah.
indication that Indiana was going to have their number. It was on
But
the it was on
they did beat them by 15 that day.
one regular season game. They were on
Again,
the
shoulda,
they were
coulda, woulda.
no they were. I'm saying they were on the way up as a team because they were the new young
Yeah.
Pacers. But for me
Mhm.
lang, it was still theirs to prove, and it didn't happen because Malice in the Palace happened. So
Because of what happened.
yeah, so I cannot say also that if Malice in the Palace didn't happen, the Pacers were on the way to win a ring. The way they were also saying it in the docu na, oh, if this
Yeah.
didn't happen, we would have gotten the ring. Not necessarily in my book. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that
Well,
if
yan naman.
that's
That still would have been against the Pacers.
yeah.
I mean, the Spurs. So,
yeah.
medyo,
Right, there. It would have been against Detroit and the Spurs. Kumbaga, I mean,
Yeah.
there were two
right.
hurdles still to fight there. So that's my final thoughts on the whole thing. Though I love, of course, I love NBA docus done well. So
Yep.
I did love this.
Yep.
Same. Yeah. It was good.
Eh,
It was good.
Ako, I don't want to diss the team that took us to 7 games. So,
yeah,
diba? I can't say the Pistons were basura, but seriously, I think my final thoughts
No
here,
one naman here saying they
my
were
biggest
basura.
takeaway here is or lesson, if I can say, the biggest lesson here for me is, everything you read in sports media now, you take with a grain of salt, because there are two sides of a story. There are two sides
Yes.
to a story, and
Yes.
it's not always that both sides are told. So even
Right.
especially, actually, I would say more so even with today's sports media, even with something as simple as memes. I mean, do your diligence first before you jump to any conclusions, you
Yeah.
jump to any judgment,
Right.
because there's a lot of BS
Right. That
stuff.
goes out to all
Right,
the fans
right,
out there
right.
like us. Yeah.
There's a lot of BS
Because we
stuff.
do. We do our due
Right,
diligence and we research as much as we can
right.
before we come up with our own opinions.
And
we
there's a lot
research on the spot.
on the spot. Actually, we
On the spot.
yeah, dude. Yeah, even in our chat room, we fact check
That group,
ourselves.
yeah.
We fact check
Yeah.
ourselves on the spot. It's
Yeah.
because
And
again,
we're actually no. Go ahead.
sa akin lang, just do your diligence. Kasi, and don't jump to any conclusions on any particular topic, because there really is a lot of BS there, and
Yes.
you don't wanna go back to watching a docu 10 years from now and thinking, I was wrong with my initial
Yun pala
judgment,
yun.
and you had all
Yeah,
these
di ba?
mga, you said na all
Right.
of these things on social media and all that, and then it turns out to be,
Right.
unfounded and
Yeah.
inaccurate, diba? So that's my thing
Right.
with this. Actually, it's more
Right.
the
Right.
it's really me ranting about today's media now. That was my biggest takeaway. Parang that was my main focus when I was watching it. Na parang gago talaga today's media, and even media in general through the years.
Even the sports media then eh. Di ba? I mean, that's
Right.
really what got my ire watching this
And
whole
and here's
docu.
my thing, dude, with that, with what you just said. Ako, I would take before pa nga eh. Because at least before,
Over now.
they were just, a few sports media that were, a few personalities that were doing it, and now you can just have any
Right.
idiot off the street and be an analyst, quote
Oh
unquote
yeah,
analyst.
yeah.
Diba? Like your mga Kendrick Perkins who can't make a reverse dunk, a 6 6'11".
Who airballs a reverse dunk?
Who airballs a
eh.
freaking reverse dunk and he throws it down so hard pa, 'di ba? And then he talks about Pop like he's something.
Yeah,
Grabe.
we should talk about that, about his comments about Team USA
Oh
and
yeah.
Papa. That's another
That's
episode
another episode.
That's a
altogether.
whole
Again,
episode.
yeah. No, my point's that I don't. Jay, go. I already ranted. I think. Jay, what are you? Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, that my whole takeaway from this is really how irresponsible media can be, how irresponsible
Yeah.
sometimes even the fans can be
Right.
by just succumbing to whatever they get or whatever they read first, and that becomes the holy grail, that becomes the Bible of whatever happened. No, like what Mike was saying, do naman a little research. Do some background checking. Try to find out the other side to that story, because there always is an other side to a story. Always.
That's true. And before I get Mike's wise words for tonight, Jay, that NBA team, the Spirit of St. Louis from the ABA, finally was bought out in 2014.
14 lang.
Yes.
Wow.
So
That
they
was
were
a
being
long
paid.
ass
Yeah, yeah.
ride, man.
Well, the NBA
Wow.
did finally buy them out in 2014 na, huy, stop na. Stop paying you already.
Crazy. Perpetua.
In other words,
Who
tapos
signs
na.
a contract
Yeah.
like that?
Tapos na
There's a
maliligalang
so,
araw nyo.
Yeah.
Ito na.
But there's a documentary on that. It's a good documentary. I'll look for it and try to find a way to look for it. But anyway,
Sige.
Mike, you have any?
Yes, this one is from one of my favorites, Sun Shu.
Oh, wow.
Sun Shu.
Phoenix
Art
Sun.
of War.
Phoenix
Art
Sun
of
Shu.
War.
Phoenix Sun Shu. Phoenix Sun Shu, my dark horse team from last year.
Wala niya naman.
So,
Akala ko
this
naman,
goes-
one of my favorite books na yan.
I have the book
Book.
actually.
One of your favorite booker.
Booker. Booker from the
Hanep, may
Phoenix Sun.
segue ah.
So this one goes, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
The supreme art of.
The
Yes.
supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
Yes.
Without
yes.
fighting.
I completely agree. I went my whole life not getting into a fight.
Yes.
Galing.
Yes. Yung hanggang ano ka lang.
I
Sige.
can't say the same
Diba?
as Julio.
Hindi,
I
yung
can't
tipo,
say the same as Julio. I've
Parang
gotten
ano yan
into quite a lot of fights.
parang ano yan eh, yung hanggang doon ka lang sa level na, sige nga, awakan mo yung tenga. And then hanggang doon ka lang na parang
Yeah,
gumagalong-galong ka lang.
Ho, ho, ho!
Ho, ho.
I
Viva la France!
Viva la France!
if there's only thing I agree with Floyd Mayweather is that I don't want to get hit. So I'll probably run.
Parang yung bagong kalaban ni Pacquiao, putsa, may injury eh.
Yeah.
Ano
Well,
ba yan?
that was unfortunate, but well, I'm still gonna watch it anyway. I guess with Ugas. What's his name now? Ugas.
Ugas.
Ha?
Ugas.
Ungas.
Ugas.
Ungas.
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 Are you sure it's Ugas?
Ugas. Ugas, dude.
It's Ugas.
Ugas kamay.
I don't know
Ugas
what's better.
ka
I don't know what's
Kailangan
better.
natin yan ha. Tumataas ang COVID natin and all
Ugas
that shit.
kamay.
Ugas kayo ng kamay.
Ugas kamay ng kamay.
Dude.
Dude.
Maganda. Okay.
Okay to. So imagine, I think we have to, if we don't stream, if we stream once a week, talagang abutin tayo ng 2 hours every single episode.
Yeah,
So,
Hours talaga. Lagpas eh.
We're at 2:12 now. Kanina when I was asking for your final thoughts, we were at 2 hours 4 minutes.
that's why, guys, I think when the regular
That's
season
why I
comes,
kept wanting to segue earlier kasi I knew it na eh. Sabi ko, putsa, umabot ng 30 minutes na yung Summer League. Sabi ko, wow, dapat pang 10 minutes lang yun ah. Mabot 30 minutes. Sabi ko, okay, sige. May another 30 minutes para dun sa Malice in the Palace. Ay, sandali. Meron pa palang,
30
the Schroeder epic fail.
Dude,
Putsa, which also had another 30 minutes. Sabi ko, wow, isang oras na yun. Ito yung Malice in the Palace, Malas in the Palace. Maabot na isang oras eh.
dude, I'm telling you, we probably have to have, regular season was going to be a whole different story, but we might have to do something like a midweek. If not, we'll just have to hit a whole 2-hour episode every
No,
weekend.
The NBA naman has a midweek game of the week, diba? Which comes out on Wednesdays there, Thursdays here.
Yeah.
So we should be good with that. We can start with a game to start the week, a game midweek, and then a game at the weekend.
But
I think we're gonna end up doing 3 a week.
3 a week, and I think I like. I
Not
don't know
bad,
about.
no?
I don't know about you guys, but I think I like the Saturday night time slot. If we're not
I'm
busy
okay,
and we're not
yeah.
The
doing
Saturday
anything.
night with the drinks.
Yeah, with the
Perfect,
drink,
man.
so people can hang out in the huddle and in a
Yeah.
more
Right,
I'm
chill,
okay
So
with that.
thanks with us, guys.
I don't mind going 2 hours, 3 hours. I can even sell
Dude, you stream. Dude,
RTW.
ako, wala. Hands down kami sa'yo. You stream 3 hours
Benta.
by yourself. By yourself,
Comment,
dude.
comment lang po, 100 pesos.
So, alright. Jay, you wanna bring us home?
So,
Take us home,
to
Jay.
finally wind this shit down. You heard it first. Here at
The
Bench.
Huddle!
Huddle.
The huddle? What? You changed it?
Come on.
The
Uy,
bench!
At the bench.
Oh my God! Okay, again, Jay. Again.
Pagpasensyahan niyo po kami.
Hey guys,
Pero we said it first here.
on
The bench!
The Huddle.
the bench.
And you heard it here at ulit
The
natin.
bench.
The bench.
The
Yan.
bench.
The bench po. Sorry po. The bench po.
Thank you for everyone. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everyone for viewing.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby,
guys.
for bombarding our
Pulang-pula na si Mike eh.
the huddle.